sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
I don't feel so good.
You do feel hot. Dayquil Kids will take care of that fever.
What about my cough?
Dayquil Kids has that covered.
Will it make my throat feel better?
Yes, that too.
But will it taste good?
Yep, Dayquil Kids comes in your favorite flavor.
Purple?
Well, yes, it's grape.
Try new Dayquil Kids Plus Fever, the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Safe for kids 6+. Use as directed.
Hey Seattle, Jaden Schwartz. Still having roofing problems? Don't skate through the winter. Call Techline today. Techline has the strongest warranty in the business. Take advantage of our easy financing and seasonal specials. Happy holidays from our team at Techline Roofing.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Contractors, equipment operators, and auto enthusiasts, do not miss this opportunity. The James G. Murphy Company proudly presents the Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles Online Auction from December 5th through December 12th. Bid on over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, hundreds of cars, pickups, and SUVs, plus a massive assortment of tools, lumber, and equipment. Featured items include a 2012 Komatsu PC360LC excavator, a 2019 John Deere 135G excavator, a 2021 Sany telescopic forklift, 5 Vector trucks like the 2016 Kenworth T880, and a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S convertible. In-person previews take place December the 9th, 10th, and 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Register now and start bidding at murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Has a first down, it's a touchdown! Seahawks! 49 yards to Pater.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Seahawks beat the Arizona Cardinals for a series sweep. It also strengthens their hold on first place in the NFC West. Hugely important considering the underdog Rams also beat the Bills in a shootout. Elsewhere in sports, the biggest deal MLB has ever seen per ESPN's Jeff Pass and outfielder Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. That's the largest deal in professional sports history. Unlike Ohtani's deal, Soto's deal includes no deferred money and has escalators that can inflate the contract's value to $800 million.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. The hold on first place in the NFC West continues to strengthen for the Seattle Seahawks, who beat the Arizona Cardinals for a series sweep. Now, you still got one to play, Week 18 against the Rams, and that could end up being for the NFC West. We'll talk about that a little later in the show. Right now, we're going to just focus on the winners at hand, the Seattle Seahawks. And Bump, you were thinking about this season, in particular, some of the big decisions that they've made, controversial decisions, maybe ones that flew under the radar that we didn't even talk about that much also. And you thought, man, these decisions are really paying off. What is one of the decisions you were looking at?
Oh, man. Big ups Dirty. I mean, Dirty. Well, I was reading something on Dirty. That's why I said his name. Big ups on Mike McDonald and John Schneider for making moves. I think we've kind of touched on this already, how they weren't stubborn and said make it enough when they had the roster that they had. One of the moves that they made is, well, it was out of necessity. Kobe Bryant gets to start because Rayshon Jenkins is banged up. And Kobe's been bald. Rayshon Jenkins is healthy. He's now that third safety who ended the game with a sack. It's good for Rayshon. He's been playing some good football, but for them to say, we're going to stick with this kid, the guy who's been banged up, is he a corner? Is he a nickel? Is he a safety? We're going to stick with Kobe. Kobe has 3 interceptions. He won his first 25 games without any interceptions. He's got 3 this year. I think being willing to, I wouldn't say go against the grain, but just try some new things when things aren't going your way. It's big. And then you started the rookie, Tyree Snyder. You got rid of your linebackers. We talked about this a lot, right? You got rid of your linebackers. A linebacker who played every single snap for you in Dotson, and a guy you brought over from Miami in Baker, and you get Ernest Jones, who it sounds like they wanted in general to begin with when Ernest was on the market looking, but ended up with Tennessee. And then you go with Tyrese Knight, who had his first game leading the team in tackles. So those are a couple of moves that these guys have made, and it seems to be paying off for them so far. And I think we feel the same with this. I'm like reluctant just to completely dive in and say, it's fixed. The defense is fixed. The offense is fixed. We're ready to go. It's like, all right, you got about, 4 or 5 more games left. Let's finish.
I feel more willing to say it about the defense, though. And part of that is the talent that's on defense. When the defense was really, really struggling, there was this feeling of like, let's take last year, right? Let's say second half of last year. So they still had Leonard Williams here. He's part of the conversation. Like, there's guys on this defense where you're like, man, this defense should be a little bit better. What's not working? What isn't working? Is it the scheme? Is it coaching? Is it communication? Like, is it trust? What's not happening? And it didn't quite make sense. It's not that I thought they'd be elite, but you thought they could be a little bit better than, I don't know, second to last place against the run. With the offensive line, so we'll talk a little bit later in the show how this was one of the best games this season for the offensive line. I don't look at that. I have less faith in that remaining consistent than I do in the defense. This isn't a bump. This is 5 games of them limiting opponents to 20 points or under. 5 games.
Yeah, the defense has put in some work. They've shown you, they've made you believe, they've taken the football away. We mentioned Kobe Bryant with 3 interceptions. Ernest Jones had his first one. But the offensive line is a different beast. I think this 2 games in a row where we've seen this offensive line play well. And Laumea, you got to give this guy some love. The rookie out of
another one of your decisions.
Out of Utah. Yeah, another decision made. You're not going to go with Christian Haynes. You're not going to go with Forsythe when he's healthy, even though Forsythe plays at the tackle spot. But you're going with Laumea, and he's doing his thing. 2 weeks in a row, Gino has experienced the least pressure he has all season. I'm not just saying it's because of him, but obviously you got to point the young man out. And I'm watching him in these pin and pull situations, the gap scheme where he's pulling and blocking guys. He's lighting dudes up. And that big 51-yard run from Zach Charbonnet, Satala did his thing. And then no returner issues. You bring the guy from Canada who almost didn't make it because his passport was all jacked up. But Jalen gets back there, and it looks smooth. And what's so disrespectful, too, I guess it's disrespectful, but it's not. But I thought about it. He's rocking number 1, too. He says, go ahead and give me that number, dog. Go ahead and give me that number, and I'm going to show you how to do it.
I thought it.
Yeah, I'm like, dang, man, Laviska, man, I hope you get picked up soon. But they're making moves, and it's working out for them. Yesterday was when we asked for this, like a dominant win. It was dominant at times. Towards the second half, it stumbled just a little bit, and the Cardinals got back in the game. But for the most part, there were moments where we felt like they were dominating.
Well, and you're totally right. The second half, they stumbled a little bit. And I would even take out certain drives, as I know you would. Like that last drive when the Cardinals were making up yardage and got pretty deep in the red zone before, as you mentioned, Rayshon Jenkins sacked Kyler Murray. That's because they're also playing prevent defense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's I would say like that third quarter at the beginning of the fourth is where I start to go like, okay, well, what are we doing here? What's happening? Like, what do you want to fix? But overall, so happy. You're right. So happy with what we saw. 30 points, 5 pressures allowed for Geno Smith. No sacks allowed. Run game takes off. A lot to talk about. I want to keep focusing on some of these decisions, though, and kind of what it means. There's a bit of swallowing of pride that has to happen. Like let's go to your Kobe decision. So you said, I really appreciate that they let Kobe keep his starting job even when the regular starter came back, and that paid off because now he has 3 interceptions. He also almost had like a forced fumble in kind of a weird situation that ended up getting recovered by Arizona, but he was active. If you're John Schneider, you signed Rayshon Jenkins as a free agent. Like, that was someone that you brought in to be your starter and that you focused on. And there's a bit of swallowing of pride that comes with going, all right, you like this guy that I already had here? You know what I mean? Fine. Like, if you think it works and if you really like him and if he hasn't lost his job, like there's kind of a humbleness you have to have, I think. And the same thing with moving on from your linebackers. Like, I think there are GMs, coaches, front office executives who would have a harder time admitting that a decision was wrong.
I think the hardest one, had to be the LBs because they were playing.
For sure.
I think with Kobe, Rayshon got hurt, so you had to play him, and then he went out there and showed that you should give him more opportunity. That's more Kobe applying that pressure and showing. And that's the tough part, too, is because a lot of guys, a lot of GMs and head coaches believe that you don't lose your spot because of injury. If you're injured and you are a starter, you're going to come back and be the starter. That wasn't the situation there. Big ups Kobe for doing that. Swallowing that pride is the LBs. And we don't know what was out there exactly when it comes to the LB market. Ernest Jones obviously was not available. He had already been inked up. You drafted Tyrese Knight. I don't think they thought they would play him this early.
No.
But when you're watching the film makes you have honest conversations with yourself, about your team, about your personnel. They're watching the film, and I don't know if John watches film with Mike. I'm sure they glance at it or whatnot. But Mike's watching the film, and he's like, look, this ain't getting it done. You know who I had over there in Baltimore? I had some dogs over there. Mm-hmm. I'm not asking them to be that, but there are some things that I don't see these guys getting done. We got to switch it up right now or our season is in jeopardy. And Ernest Jones has been just a godsend, man. He is a leader out there. I love, man, there was one play. He made the tackle, and he's talking to the Arizona sideline. And it was just the way he was talking. He wasn't doing too much. He wasn't giving them too much time. It was just a quick comment. Bam, then I'm back to business. The maturity of this dude makes it hard to believe that he's only 24 years old. Mm-hmm. But I think that was the biggest move. You still got to show, this line still has to show me that they can do it, though. They still got to show me. Zach Charbonnet looked great. And there's another decision. I think K9's still going to have a spot. But I also think that K9 feels some pressure. We're talking in the postgame show with the guys. Competition within your team is great.
Yeah.
Zach Charbonnet putting pressure on K9. Kobe putting pressure on Jenkins. LeMayu putting pressure, Laumea putting pressure on Christian Haynes. That is good for your team, and I think that's what we're seeing.
I think that no matter the head coach, and this includes when Pete Carroll was here, they will preach about accountability and they're going to preach about competition. I'm not saying that didn't exist with Carroll. It certainly did. But it feels like this new regime doesn't feel the same ties to players, the same loyalty to people, and so you really feel it in a different way. Does that feel true?
Say it one more time.
So we've always heard, like, accountability and competition matter. You know what I mean? Yeah, like you show up late to a meeting, you're in trouble. Like, this is football. And it doesn't matter the head coach. But it feels like something about this new head coaching group, maybe it's John Schneider having a resurgence, I don't know what it is. I feel competition and I feel accountability more as a fan watching from the outside.
Yeah, it feels like it's more present with this regime than the last one. And that's no knock on Pete. Pete, the greatest Seahawks coach to do this thing, right? I know some people are going to throw Knox in there. No disrespect to Knox. The same Pete won a Super Bowl. But when you have some of the same guys around, some of the same voices around for 10-plus years, I think it's harder to hold guys accountable. Yeah. It's harder to be assertive and confrontational at times. Not disrespectful, but assertive and confrontational. Whereas Mike McDonald has no ties to these dudes. And I think we're seeing his true personality more and more. I don't think he's been fake or anything like that, but he's had to kind of ease his way into this and figure out exactly how he wants to move and how he wants to do some things. And it's clear that he treats every practice, every game as an individual evaluation. And if you start stacking games and practices to where you're not doing what he asked you to do, you will be gone. But that's the way I've known football my whole life. Every opportunity I've gotten in football was because somebody wouldn't do their job or somebody got hurt and I just took it and ran with that thing. That's football at its finest, man. It's a competition for days. And people always talk about, oh, it's a team and you got to all love each other. This is the NFL. You love each other when you're winning. All right, those guys love each other right now. When they're on that 3-4 game winning streak, people are not pointing fingers but asking questions and not as sure as themselves as they are today. So big up to Mike and the rest of the game. His coaching staff, too, because they got to hold these guys accountable as well.
One more decision. So you mentioned, hey, Kobe Bryant keeping his starting job, even though Rayshon Jenkins, who they got in free agency to be the starter, is back and healthy. That's a decision, and it's paid off. Starting the rookie, Tyrese Knight, that's a decision. And it's paid off so far. Bringing in Ernest Jones, obviously, is probably the most high-profile decision we've talked about. You talked about Laumea being great in that run game. Just 2 more minutes here. Let's talk about special teams. Ultimately, moving on from both of your returners, that's a decision. They made a decision to bring in a guy as a street free agent. Just, right? Was he signed just as
the Cleveland Browns that just released him? I think.
I take it back. But, I mean, that's a decision ultimately, and it paid off. No mistakes.
It looked clean back there, too. I can always tell when a guy's comfortable, he's getting behind the football, his hands are tight. He looked clean. He looked smooth back there. That number 1 jacked me up for a little bit, but it is what it is. That is the nature of the business. And I think special teamers, especially returners, are the easiest ones to replace because their mistakes are just out there. We've seen receivers drop a couple footballs, but then they can make it up with a big reception. When you're muffing punts and dropping kickoffs, it's out there for the world to see. Somebody who doesn't even know the game can see that and feel the embarrassment and the pressure of a guy back there. So those are the easier ones to do, and I think that the returners made it easy. D. Williams struggled all year fielding punts. There was a few of them that he bobbled. Laviska Shenault, that's the one where I thought that maybe he should have another chance because he did have a kick return to the house. But once you lose trust, you lose everything in this league, man.
Well, and importantly, they had no investment in him.
Yeah.
Like the reason that why does D. Eskridge get so many chances? Because they used a 2nd-round pick. And he was in a class where they only had 3 players. That's part of why he got so many chances. Yeah, there was the top-end speed that you could maybe get. Like there was all the potential, but it was ultimately, we paid for him, essentially.
Yeah,
we got to make
exactly.
sure we use him. Larry and Bremerton saying when Pete came in, it was a revolving door. No, we know. And we've talked about kind of comparing the beginning. To start it was. We've talked about comparing the beginning of Mike McDonald's tenure to the beginning of Pete's, but it was not like that at the end. And as Bump mentioned, it's because you develop loyalties and different relationships over a decade, and it does change the level of difficulty in making those decisions.
Yeah. And 206, big shout out. Michael Dixon came back with an old man injury in that 5 punts for 53 yards.
He sure
and
did.
4 inside, or average 53 yards, and 4 inside the 20. Big ups.
All right, I have an apology to make, but we're going to get to that in 15 minutes. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
The Kansas City Chiefs clinched their 9th straight AFC West championship Sunday night after another last-minute win. What's the real headline?
There comes a point where a team stops being lucky and starts being real. Say it with me now. The real world. The Chiefs are about to win the Super Bowl again, aren't they?
It's interesting. I was trying to make sense of this whole thing. Pat Mahomes has 7 game-winning drives this year. 7 of them. It's who they're against. Vegas, twice against the Chargers. Cincy, Denver, Carolina, Tampa. Not very good teams. They're keeping teams around. So far this year, Mahomes has 3 100-yard games. Or 2 100-yard games. Last year, he had 3. 2022, he had 8. This is where they're making it all happen. It's all about their defense. The 7th scoring defense, allowing 19.4 points per game. That's the 2nd lowest in 7 seasons. They're the 3rd rushing defense, allowing 88 yards per game. That's the lowest in 7 seasons. So what they're doing is they're hanging around. They're giving Mahomes the ball and said, look, we kept you here. Now go ahead and win this ball game. They should have lost that game. That kick, he hooks it to the left side, man. It hits the goalpost. It was wild, man. They got the universe is on their side this year.
So I have 2 things to throw at you. One is backing up your point from Benjamin Solak of ESPN. In their last 15 one-score games, the Chiefs are 15-0.
crazy.
15-0 in the last 15 one-score games.
It's voodoo.
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable.
I also saw a Chiefs reporter. I gotta find his name again. I'm sorry. I'm quoting him and not naming him. He mentioned, okay, look, people are gonna say that the doink is just lucky, and this whole Chiefs team has been lucky. But you know what's not lucky? Being down to your third kicker because your other two are hurt. So I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, there are cases you could make of like, oh man, like they're down to their third string kicker. That should be an easy kick and certain things. But look, ultimately, it feels like a lucky Chiefs team. Their record does not reflect where they are statistically in a lot of different categories.
And Mahomes ain't having a great year. 20 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. But if you give them time and they know that they can score and you're not going to get the ball back, you got to trust them. 7-game winning drives. Last year, Geno led the league with like 4 or 5. Mahomes is going to need like 3 or 4 more to win a Super Bowl.
Headline rewrites.
Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract, the largest deal in professional sports history. What's the real headline?
It's a can't-miss deal for the New York Mets, who have never, ever, ever famously overpaid anyone ever.
They are tired of being a little homie.
They said enough.
They literally went to the neighbors and said, you know what, we're grown now. We're all in our 30s. You're not going to bully us anymore. And good for them. And it's crazy that Juan Soto took like, one less year and $5 million more over the Yankees offer. That just made me ask the question, what was it about the Yankees culture he didn't like? Because if he truly loved being a Yankee, if he had that pride that some of these guys have, the greats like the Jeters and Aaron Judge and all that stuff, he would have stayed there. But he said, nah, I'm out this piece. So now he's the highest paid athlete of all time, which in your snapshot you said with potential to make $800 million more than Shohei, more than Messi, more than Mahomes. My grandma texts me, I think this Juan Soto deal is some crazy stuff. What's the catch? I go, Grandma, he's really good and he's really young. Timing is everything. I should have played baseball.
Is that Grandma Love?
Grandma Love.
Hi, Grandma Love.
Yeah, it's amazing, but big ups to Juan. You see the celebration he had in his hot tub with his homies?
No, I didn't. I saw the clip of it and I didn't play it. Oh,
yeah,
I love
it was
that.
cool.
It's an absolutely unreal deal. You mentioned the $800 million. One other thing I'll add about the contract. This is from Jeff Passan. He has an opt-out after 5 years. So when he's 31, he can opt out of the contract. And I'm guessing that was an offer the Mets made in order to keep it being competitive, because they can void that opt-out if they agree to pay him an additional $4 million per year. So once he turns 31, when he's about a third of the way into this contract, if he's still performing, if he's still playing like an MVP, and why wouldn't he be? Because the thing he excels with, like plate discipline or power, are things that aren't going to go quite as quickly. Maybe power, but it's his chance to, after signing this mega deal, say, well, my value might be higher now.
Man.
Isn't that crazy?
He just cut himself a great deal. It all started because he came in at 19 just balling. And then he turned down a deal worth, $440 million a couple years ago and bet on himself.
And it
then
worked
comes out and hits 41 bombs, the most he has his whole career. I mean, Juan Soto is clutch. And he's one of those players that you got to step back and realize what you're looking at in the moment so you can appreciate it a bit more.
I agree.
But good for him. I'm jealous. Give me some money.
What's next?
Headline rewrite.
Muad'Dib Timothy Chalamet was the only person on ESPN's College Game Day to pick Ohio to beat Miami in the MAC championship. What is the real headline?
Matt, are you serious?
He is the Lisan Al-Gaib, the voice of the outer world, the giver of water.
Matt, I'm going to let you read the real headline.
The
What
Duke
is it?
of Arrakis, the Kwisatz Haderach. I already read it. It says the prophecy foretold.
As the prophecy foretold, is Lisan Al-Gaib the voice from the outer world, giver of water? Matt, what is this?
It's Dune. Everyone's seen Dune. Everyone loves Dune.
Okay,
I have not. I got to go watch this thing
Matt,
now.
that's hilarious. Great job on that.
You
Let's
did all
talk
that?
about-
That's a heck of production there,
really
man.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Let's talk about Timothée Chalamet and his picks, choosing Ohio, as Matt pointed out. Ohio, the Bobcats, to beat Miami in the MAC championship. Good job.
Yeah, good for him. He
I
got
didn't
some
know
other
he knew
picks
ball like
wrong
that.
too. We're
He
all
did.
hyped because
I
he
know.
got them right. Good for him. And then let me
He picked SMU.
tell you something, okay? I do a whole bunch of research for every show, Monday through Friday, on Sundays and Saturdays as well. But I also have something called a producer. And the producer slides me some notes and be like, hey, man, by the way, A, B, and C. And I go, got you. It's like when someone ghost writes for Drake. He still got to spit it.
Sure.
So I'm watching my man, and I go, he's got some tough takes, man. And he's an actor. He's confident. But I also see him looking down at a piece of paper, spitting all this stuff. So good for him, man. If he wanted to do that, he could be an analyst. But he's going to make way more money being an actor, so go ahead and stick with that. But it was a good mix because I felt like he believed in what he was saying. He had some good producer notes. I'm also sure he had some of his own thoughts in there, too.
Yes, I am sure that he does watch football, that he does consume this content, that he's seen Game Day before. But I was more impressed with, like, man, I think he's a better actor than I even realized.
He was on point.
He's really convincing me right now.
Oh, I believe him.
And convincing everyone else. About a minute left here, Bump. We are mostly focusing on the Seahawks, on recapping Week 14 today. So we do not have a ton of time in which we're talking about some of these conference games. I will say this. Good on SMU for still making it, even though they had a loss. I know that they were worried that a loss would eliminate them.
I was watching the show Sunday morning here with the morning show, or excuse me, the pregame show, and we're waiting for that last pick. We go, committee, do the right thing. And they did the right thing and got SMU in. I wish I knew more Bama fans so I can just look you in the face. I didn't want to say nothing. I just want to look at you and watch the humbleness enter your veins. And you feel what a lot of teams have felt for years. I'm a hater right now, but I'm more of an SMU lover. I'm glad they got in.
All right, I have an apology to make. Plus, the Seahawks just had their best rushing performance of the season and their best offensive line performance of the year. Why? What changed? That's next.
This is Seattle Sports.
Has a first down and then some. Touchdown! Seahawks, 49 yards to Pater. His second touchdown of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone just did their part. O-line, tight ends, receivers, they all have big blocks.
Charbonnet in motion. He gets the handoff, goes from left to right, turns upfield. He's in. Touchdown! Seahawks!
Just ran really physical and it's tough to tackle that guy in the open field. You know, he's got speed and power, so excited for him.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract, plus for a limited time. Ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
The holidays remind us how good it feels to be proud and confident in our appearance when gathering with friends and family. If hair loss is getting in your way, then my good friends at Advanced Hair offer the proven solution. It's the simple one-day treatment I received, the Advanced FUE. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and that new hair is guaranteed to grow for life. You choose how much and where, and they do the rest. Advanced Hair has helped tens of thousands of people, including me, and they are the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. World-class Dr. Perongo and his top-rated team use breakthrough technology, delivering real results. The before and afters at advancedhair.com are surprising and incredible. Address thinning, receding, or balding today. And to celebrate the holidays, get a free consultation, 250 free hair grafts, and $250 off. Simply call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
In the PNW, we all know what driving is like here in the winter. Very slippery. Our friends at Mazda of Everett have your solution. A huge selection of over 600 new Mazda all-wheel drive SUVs. With over 600 new Mazdas in stock to choose from, you can find the Mazda that's best for you. Plus, right now, they've got 0% financing on select new Mazdas on approved credit during the Mazda A Season to Move You sales event. See for yourself why Mazda of Everett is different. MazdaofEverett.com.
Guys, are you looking for affordable and guaranteed low T and ED treatments here in Seattle? Revive Men's Health Seattle has been offering innovative men's health since 2013. Our convenient low T and ED clinics and providers have over 10 years of experience and thousands of happy patients. If you're suffering from low T or ED, we have guaranteed solutions for you. Our solutions can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. And right now, Revive Seattle locations are offering free T-level checks and free exams. We can help you get stronger and improve your performance and even get better sleep. Plus, if you're an unsatisfied patient of another men's clinic, we'll transfer your care for free. Book today, and your T-level check and exam will be free, saving you $199. Ask about our new patient specials and interest-free financing. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Reno has time. He's going to throw the near side corner. Jansen has the touchdown! Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks came up with back-to-back interceptions in the first quarter of yesterday's win over the Cardinals, and it really set the tone for the victory. The first came via linebacker Ernest Jones, and the second was from safety Kobe Bryant. Mike McDonald explained why that was an extra savvy play by Bryant postgame.
We sailed their tail on that one. I mean, we had a coverage bust action on that one, so having a post safety that can erase some things is a huge, you need those guys. So he's playing at a high level right now, and we're communicating really well, and really happy for Kobe because he's worked extremely hard to prepare himself and really master what we're asking him to do. So he's doing a great job.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
The rain's been coming down in sheets lately, and there is more to come this winter. But despite all of those big raindrops, you want to know a surprising fact? A metal roof will not magnify the sound of rain. That's right. That was one of the first questions I asked Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, when he was explaining the benefits of a metal roof. Metal roofs are all the rage right now, and they're more eco-friendly. They last almost twice as long as a traditional roof, and they are a great option for adding solar panels down the road. Asset Roofing is leading the local push in metal roofing, and they can even offer metal roofs for up to 30% less than their competitors. They make each roofing panel custom and in-house to speed up production and save homeowners like you time and money on their roofing project. Remember, you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Go to AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing excellence is on the house.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hand off Charbonnet, left side. Has a first down and then some. He's down to the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown! Seahawks!
Hey, I need to issue an apology. We had caller segments. We have them on Monday and Friday, and our Friday one bump was, hey, you want to see blank and you better not see blank. And a random example I gave was, hey, I want to see the Seahawks run the ball more, but I better not see Zach Charbonnet in short yardage situations again. Now, Zach, I was not familiar with your game. I apologize. I was not familiar with your game. I had seen instances this year. Seahawks in the red zone. Zach is out there, and I'm going, where's Ken Walker? Like, what's going on? Why not go with your lead back? This guy's gotten 1,000 yards for you before. He's got maybe an explosiveness, right? Maybe just kind of like an agility, just something that feels like that gives him an edge over Zach Charbonnet. I don't get it. And this was before we knew Ken wasn't playing, so we obviously find out later Ken isn't playing. We know Zach's going to be the starter, and my expectations were still, Gino's going to throw it 50 times. Like, this is going to be tough.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here? Instead, Zach Charbonnet has his best game as a pro bump.
You know what I need you to do? That same energy you got right there, take it to Derek every now and then. Just apologize because there's sometimes you wrong, and you just stand your ground. And us as men, we take it on the chin and be like, all right, well, it's not worth it. I still want to go out to eat and have a good time.
Yeah.
So just take that to Derek every
I'm
now and
thinking
then.
the last thing I was wrong about, and I'm drawing a blank.
I'm sure. But I'm glad that we're able to do that here. The last time we saw Zach Charbonnet get the start, he rushed for 91 yards and 2 touchdowns against Miami. And it's such a complicated thing. I'm talking to the guys on the post-game show, Big Ray, Paul Moyer, Brian Walters, and we came to the conclusion that sometimes not having a bunch of experience is an advantage. And it's an advantage in the run game because you're going to do exactly what the run wants you to do. If you got a guard and a tackle pulling, you're going to get behind their rear ends, and then you are going to go when the space opens and run it 51 yards. Ken Walker's had so much success having the big play, the switching fields and making guys miss that it felt like he lost trust in the offensive line to make those blocks. Therefore, he's looking for the big play. I don't blame him at all. I don't blame K9. He's probably frustrated, like, man, I've been trying, but you know what? Now I'm going rogue and I'm doing my own thing. With Zach Charbonnet, Zach doesn't have those type of capabilities to where he can look right, look left, switch fields, flip over a guy, do a push-up, and keep rolling. He just don't have that in him. So Zach Charbonnet was just doing exactly what the run was designed to do. But here's the thing, man, is you're also getting better play from the offensive line. K9 hasn't played behind this offensive line when they're getting on bodies the way they were getting on bodies.
Best game of the year.
Yeah, so it's confusing because you see what Zach Charbonnet's doing. He's not doing anything extra. I'm just going exactly to the A. And these offensive linemen are getting bodies on bodies, and Ken hasn't played behind that line yet. Also, I think you got to factor in what Ryan Grubb is doing. He's figuring out his offensive personnel and what they can do and can't do. You remember that play down the goal line? They ended up running a play that they've ran a bunch of times, but they dress it up differently. Tight end to the right. He moves to the left. Now get in the backfield. Motion the receiver that way. They dressed it up in so many ways. Then he just handed it off to Zach Charbonnet. He gets to the outside. So there are a bunch of things working yesterday that I think Ken hasn't gotten as far as play with the offensive line. But I also think that Zach Charbonnet just got downhill and didn't try to do anything special.
I've been wondering, says the 253, for a bit now, if Zach Charbonnet was actually going to be better for this running game with the calls and personnel. When Walker was out, I picked up Zach and started him in fantasy. Now I'm going to the playoffs. Congratulations, 253. You talked about one of the biggest factors being the offensive line genuinely had their best game of the season, and Zach was the benefactor of that. And meanwhile, we've seen Ken struggle at times behind an offensive line that couldn't get pushed. Tell me now what you make of the competition between these two running backs in terms of timeshare.
Zach should get more time. It's still K9's ball, though.
Right.
K9 still need to be getting 15, 20 touches minimum until Zach can put together a couple of games where obviously when K9 comes back, Zach's not going to get the 20-something touches that he got yesterday. Maybe he gets 5 to 10. But you're not just going to kick K9 to the curb off of one game. A big game. Don't get it twisted. 131 yards, 50-something receiving. My man was balling. But now you just have a combo. You look at some of the best running games out there. Gibbs, Montgomery. You got a combination back there. Lamar, Henry. Obviously, that's a quarterback, but you got a combination back there. We should see this as an advantage, not a controversy.
Look at the Lions.
Yeah, we shouldn't be talking about, oh, Zach needs to get all the snaps now. No, simmer down. Don't forget what K9 can do. K9 will take that thing 80 yards on you real quick. But I do think that Charbonnet deserves a few more touches, and maybe you start designing plays that fit what he likes to do.
Do you think that this game, and you mentioned his start against Miami, have shifted people's perception, maybe especially Grubb's, about the kind of back he is? Because I remember asking you, hey, do you think we've put Zach Charbonnet in a box where he doesn't belong. Like, we see him as this bruiser, and what if he's like a slightly different running back?
I never thought he was a bruiser. If you watched him at UCLA, he actually made a couple guys miss. He's not the Barry Sanders break you down like a Ken Walker. He's that one move and then I'm gone type of runner. So, no, I think like most running backs too, they got to find their groove. And when you're not touching, but when you're only touching the ball in goal line situations and you're asked to be a fullback, Charbonnet is not a fullback. That is not what he does. I know he looks thick, got them thighs and that neck, and everyone thinking that maybe he can get it done. And he did score an 8-yard touchdown from that fullback spot, but that's not what he does. So, yeah, and also I love seeing Kenny Mack get some touches too. He looked good as well. So now you got a good problem.
Yeah.
You got 3 running backs. Now it's up to Grubb and this offensive line to allow these guys to find their groove and get going.
I have a couple questions for you from the Mac and Jacks text line, 253. They said it should be Charbonnet's job going forward. No ifs, ands, or buts. Sorry if it's not popular with y'all, but he should be. How is Zach going to prove it if he doesn't start?
That's not how this works, man. That's not how football works. You don't do it one time, and it is yours. You do it one time, and you know what you get? You get more reps. You show up on Monday. You're locked in during film. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you're practicing. You're proving it. You're showing it again and again. He's going to get more touches, and he should get more touches. And K9 should feel that pressure. I think this is good for K9. K9 is going to feel the pressure of Zach Charbonnet and maybe be a bit more disciplined when it comes to getting downhill and doing what he's supposed to do. But he gets more touches. Man, how quickly people forget. I think Charbonnet deserves more touches, but Ken Walker has had some great moments for this team. Some couple good years with this ball club.
Yeah. Another good question from a listener, 619 from Cali. Is it just me, or do the Hawks do more power running with Zach and zone running with K9? It feels like the Hawks line is better built for power blocking instead of zone blocking, ?
Yeah, I think they do. I think because with Ken Walker, when you go zone, you can press one side and look for the cutback. That's what K9 is good at. They still run power and trap and all those pin pull type stuff with K9, but I think that with Zach Charbonnet, they understand him a bit more. And it's almost like, I don't want to say he's one-dimensional, but he's good at what he's good at. And with Ken Walker, he can do a little bit of everything, so they try a little bit of everything. With Zach Charbonnet, they kept it real simple.
Well, and kind of backing up, the 425 mentioning the same thing I was thinking with pointing to the Lions. 425 says the Lions are doing exactly what Pete wanted when they drafted Charbonnet. You said, hey, what Seattle has going on right now where it's like, oh, Charbonnet deserves more time, but Ken is still the starter, and that's a good situation to be in. Look at what the Lions are doing, right? Like having the 1-2 punch, having the ability for both backs who are a little bit, they have their own style and they have their own thing, but they can also complement the run game. Having both options is a great thing.
You don't want to run them to the ground.
No.
That's why you need that 1-2 combo. Look at the Rams getting Blake Corum a bit more involved in their offense as well. I think that I said it last year. This is going to be the new wave of the NFL. You need a 1-2 combo.
Okay, so we are going to go over some of those plays of the game coming up at 11. Before we do, we got to take a fresh look at the NFC West and a battle to the postseason. But first, the Holiday Magic online auction is now live. Join Seattle Sports, KIRO News Radio, and Treehouse for the 36th year of Holiday Magic. You can start bidding on incredible one-of-a-kind packages. Experience the thrill of the Seahawks-Vikings game on December 22nd with 2 club-level tickets. And how about this? Pre-game field passes, giving you the best seats in the house. This package is perfect for any Seahawks fan looking to create unforgettable memories. The auction runs through December 11th, so do not miss out. Your participation helps provide holiday gifts and year-round support for children and youth in foster care across the state. Visit mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic to learn more and start bidding today. Again, the auction is live now through December 11th, so go place your bids. Coming up next, a fresh look at the NFC West.
The Mike McDonald Show, the first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's funny. I mean, you get these questions about, like, when we do good stuff, like, hey, what button did you push? It's like, no, we just kept doing what we said we were going to do. And there's a couple things, and you just keep chasing those things, keep playing really hard, and guys stay bought in, then good things happen. I think now it's great that, we have probably some more confidence in what we're doing, what we're trying to get done. Just everybody sticking together and working towards what we want to look like.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Dave Wyman with an important message for those recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. Several treatment options are available, and gaining an understanding of each of them can help you make an informed treatment decision. When searching for the most advanced treatment, excellent outcomes, minimal side effects, and a short treatment course, CyberKnife at Swedish is top of the list. CyberKnife is a non-surgical treatment utilizing a robotic radiosurgery system to deliver radiation beams with sub-millimeter accuracy. The targeted radiation adjusts robotically in real time to tumor and patient movement. Swedish CyberKnife patients report a better quality of life both during and after treatment. Swedish CyberKnife treats patients from all over the Pacific Northwest. If you, a friend, or a family member is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider Swedish CyberKnife. Go to swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. That's swedish.org/cyberknife-prostate. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish CyberKnife.
No power? No problem. Stay warm this winter with a Valor gas fireplace that can heat without electricity. Check them out at Bellevue Fireplace Shop, located 1 block east of Costco in Kirkland's Rose Hill Plaza. Bellevue Fireplace Shop and BellevueFireplaceShop.com.
Build better benefits for your employees with the MBA Health Trust. The Master Builders Association of King and Snohomish Counties offers quality and affordable health benefits for local construction businesses. Learn more at MBAHealthTrust.com.
What would motivate you to encourage your kid to work with me at Lee Johnson?
I still revert back to, if I work at a location and I'm willing to have my son work at this location, that should tell you a great deal. I didn't steer my son away, I steered my son to it. Because of the opportunities that are in front, and when you see it across multiple rooftops in multiple locations, it says a lot that you're willing to entrust your family member, your blood, sweat, and tears. You're willing to say, hey, this is a great place for them to be and work. If you take care of people, they take care of customers.
Sharing a good thing with family and friends comes easy at the Lee Johnson Auto family. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
For over 111 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington. From the Space Needle in Seattle and now all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist you with any lighting issue, as well as help with intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting expert since 1912. Visit PacificLamp.com.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward, right. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
Eddie's! This is Seattle Sports.
Gino gets rid of the football, low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40.
The home of the Seahawks.
Some said a life-threatening brain tumor would dim Aisley's spark. But this future pop star is back to full sparkle, and she's ready for her big encore. Through research, compassionate care, and support from people like you, Seattle Children's is fighting for lasting cures. So for every kid that didn't have a chance, this relentless fight is for you. Because this isn't about beating the odds, it's about changing them for all kidkind. Hope, care, cure. Seattle Children's.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed the musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit. Accurate Auto Body.
O'Brien Auto Group has some of the best new car brands in the Northwest. Those great new vehicles make the best pre-owned vehicles as well. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for the best factory certified vehicles. O'BrienAutoGroup.com for a large selection of the best pre-owned cars and trucks. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. Choose from hundreds of SUVs, trucks, hybrids, EVs, and more. O'BrienAutoGroup.com. One site is all you need. That's OBRIEN Autogroup.com.
O'Brien. From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Ooh, a lot happening in the NFC West this weekend, so let's take a fresh look. And we'll also, at the very end of this segment, take a step back, look at the NFC, kind of see where things are shaking out. So we are not starting with the Seahawks this time around. We will end with them because we already know what happened. Instead, we'll go to what I felt was unfortunately one of the best games of the weekend. Rams-Bills, final 44-42 Rams. Matthew Stafford, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 132.6 passer rating bump in a game where both teams scored over 40 points. Neither quarterback threw an interception. Josh Allen, 3 rushing touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns. Might end up winning me my fantasy matchup this week, depending on what T. Higgins does today. Bills had a monster fourth quarter rally. Wasn't enough to overcome things for the Rams. So the good news is the Rams are still 1 game behind Seattle, but the bad news is they played a phenomenal game, and I'm a little more nervous for Week 18 than I was even a week ago.
Second year in a row, the Rams just get better and better as the season progresses. They had some injuries to start the season, so it makes sense that they started off kind of slow the way that they did. But watching this game, it was ridiculous, man. I mean, Puka Nacua, I think, is the best receiver on that Rams team. No disrespect to Cooper Kupp, but right now, Puka Nacua is the guy. I mentioned how they're using both of their backs a bit more. Blake Corum got his 8 carries for 34, and Kyron Williams, who's top 5 in the league in rushing at 29 for 87. I think the most impressive thing about this game to me was that there were only 5 drives that did not end without a score, and there were 18 drives between the two. Buffalo was a more explosive team. Gains of 51, 26, 21, 41, 30, average 8.2 yards per play. The Rams did what the Rams do. They work it down the field. They ran almost 20 more plays than the Bills, and then they have 5 of their 9 drives have double-digit plays. You know that's how the Rams get down, man. They're going to motion you. They're going to hit you in the flat. They'll take their shots, but it made sense because the Bills with Josh Allen seem more explosive, and the Rams are just, we're going to work it down the field type of game. The Rams scared me. I was begging yesterday for Buffalo to get this win, just to make things more clear for the Seahawks when it comes to that final matchup. Granted, you still have to you still got to win your ball games if you are the Seahawks, because nothing is guaranteed. The Rams got the Niners, who are wounded. They got the Jets. They got the Cardinals. And then it's the Seahawks. It might come down to that Week 18 game, but the Rams, for the second straight year, they get better as the season progresses. I think it's because of Sean McVay. It's because of the veteran Matthew Stafford over there. And I know that they gave up 40-something points, but don't sleep on that defensive line, too.
No, absolutely not. And as you mentioned, don't sleep on Puka Nacua, icing it with the touchdown.
They blitz. Stafford sees it. Nacua, it's a block. He might go. Nacua scores. Touchdown, Rams.
Nacua received Pro Football Focus's highest grade among all wide receivers this week, in a week that included 5 touchdowns for Sam Darnold, including a couple to Justin Jefferson. So amazing performance by Puka Nacua, amazing performance by the Rams. Yes, they are still a serious threat. The Rams and Seahawks, the only 2 teams in the division that still control their destiny. We'll talk about that again at the end of this segment. Let's talk about the 49ers. 49ers dominated the Bears. This first half stat line bump I could not get over. 49ers total offense, 319 yards. Bears, 4. Just 4. Brock Purdy, 20-25, 325, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. In a week where you felt really good about your win over the Cardinals, the Rams and 49ers felt pretty good about their team's performances too.
Well, the Niners needed this one, and you felt like they were going to get it. Caleb was playing some better football, but, you know, when you go up against those 49ers, things happen. The Niners dropped 3 in a row before getting to the Bears. Obviously, the Hawks beat them 2017. You lose to a good Packers team 38-10 and a dominant Bills team 35-10. So you took care of the little work. That was my note. Niners took care of light work. Bears 162 total yards. Niners were 5 of 6 in the red zone. And this was a game that they needed, and the timing was perfect. A lot of the time, the schedule influences things, right? It's the thick part of the schedule, the light part of the schedule. They needed this because they know they went through a little gauntlet. I don't think they expected the Seahawks to be a part of that gauntlet when the season started, but they knew the Packers and Bills were going to be a tough one. So now they got the Rams, the Dolphins, the Lions, and the Cardinals. We need the Niners to upset the Rams. We need the Niners to take care of home.
Are we rooting for the Niners
and
here?
I don't think we're rooting for them, but there's an interest in that game.
We're not rooting against them.
Not rooting against them either, yeah.
Okay, biggest takeaways. Now we're at the end of the segment where we can bring in stuff that's relevant to the Seahawks. Number one, the 49ers improved their record, but not their NFC West standing. As I mentioned, the Rams and Seahawks, the only one in full control here in the driver's seat. The 49ers are 6-7. They're in a last-place tie with the Cardinals. So they and the Cardinals need the Rams and Seahawks to lose games ahead. Bump, it feels nice to be in control of your outcome. The Seahawks just need to win.
Yeah, and they got the tougher schedule out of anyone who has football left to play. Niners still have to play the Lions, but we're concerned with the Niners, but obviously we're focused on the Rams. But you still got the Packers, Sunday Night Football, and then you have the Vikings as well. We saw Sam Darnold throw for 5 touchdowns, no interceptions this past weekend. It's a tougher role for the Seahawks, but you feel way more optimistic about it because of what this defense has been able to do. If this defensive line can continue to get some pressure on the quarterback, turn the football over, and this offense can look anything like we saw yesterday. And the most important part about yesterday, I know you ran for over 100 yards. You got Zach Charbonnet doing his thing. The first time this year, Geno has gone 2 games in a row without turning the football over. That is crucial. You see what happens when you win the turnover battle. You typically win those ball games. Oh, it's about just being efficient, but the Hawks are playing their best football at the right time of the year. You got to appreciate that.
Only 2 teams in the NFC have actually clinched playoff spots, that being the Detroit Lions at 12-1. They did that with their win earlier this week. The Philadelphia Eagles at 11-2. Neither has clinched the division, though, so some interesting games left to be played, not just including Seattle. That could, though, as Bump mentioned, be for the NFC West, but the Detroit Lions have a season finale against the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings then have plenty to play for when they face the Seattle Seahawks. So, NFC West playoff picture and the NFC playoff picture coming into frame here. It's going to be really fascinating final couple games. 12s, it's time to get loud. The Seattle Seahawks are back home this weekend for Fan Appreciation Night, and today is the last day. You can enter to win 4 tickets to watch them take on the Green Bay Packers at Lumen Field. Again, that's this Sunday, December 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. It's always fun to go over a few highlights after a game, but it's especially sweet after a win. So let's find out how the Seahawks got here and what we learned. That's coming up next.
This is Seattle Sports.
For Kyler Murray, he's going to throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones, he's across the 20, tripped up and dropped at the 19-yard line.
As soon as I turned around to look for the ball, it was there, and I'm like, there's no way.
Geno gets rid of the football, low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40. Tackle down, first down.
Great team win for us. Man, just the mentality that we're in right now, coming down the home stretch, December football. Thought the guys were ready to play.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
In the PNW, we all know what driving is like here in the winter. Very slippery. Our friends at Mazda of Everett have your solution. A huge selection of over 600 new Mazda all-wheel drive SUVs. With over 600 new Mazdas in stock to choose from, you can find the Mazda that's best for you. Plus, right now, they've got 0% financing on select new Mazdas on approved credit during the Mazda A Season to Move You sales event. See for yourself why Mazda of Everett is different. MazdaofEverett.com. Want to listen to Seattle Sports on your smart speaker?
Hey, smart speaker, play Seattle Sports.
This message is powered by the EQC Sportsbook at Emerald Queen Casino. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Contractors, equipment operators, and auto enthusiasts, do not miss this opportunity. The James G. Murphy Company proudly presents the Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction from December 5th through December 12th.
Bid on over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, hundreds of cars, pickups, and SUVs, plus a massive assortment of tools, lumber, and equipment. Featured items include a 2012 Komatsu PC360LC excavator, a 2019 John Deere 135G excavator, a 2021 Sany telescopic forklift, 5 Vector trucks like the 2016 Kenworth T880, and a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S convertible. In-person previews take place December the 9th, 10th, and 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Register now and start bidding at murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with available financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Television sales on Black Friday set new records as millions of Americans snapped up the hot deals. But a lot of people were out of town or too busy to take advantage of the special pricing. So, how about a redo? Right now, you've got a second chance to save big on many of the top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs. Where? At Video Only, where the smart shoppers go. So, don't miss out. Check out Video Only now, or
you'll be sorry.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats to your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck, and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment, coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw far side, intercepted again. Kobe Bryant this time.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The single biggest free agent question of MLB's offseason is settled. Per ESPN's Jeff Pass and outfielder Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract. That is the largest deal in professional sports history. Unlike Ohtani's deal, Soto's deal includes no deferred money and has escalators that can inflate the contract's value to $800 million. Hey, remember the story last week about how Bill Belichick was being courted by North Carolina for their head coaching job? That saga isn't over. According to ESPN, those talks between Belichick and the Tar Heels continued this week with some type of resolution expected to come this week.
Snapshot brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio
This is Bump and Stacy.
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Plays the game are that much sweeter after a win, so let's get to them right now. We're going to start with what's going to feel like a low light, but it's also going to help tell the story. Kyler Murray finds Michael Wilson for 41 yards and a score.
Murray may be changing the play at the line of scrimmage. Has a tight slot on the right side. Play fake. He rolls to the right, stops. Going to throw deep. Got a man out there making the catch. In for the touchdown. Arizona is Michael Wilson. A trip set on the right side. Kobe Bryant was the safety, and he got beat deep on the far side. A 41-yard touchdown. The Seahawks have not given up many big plays of late. That time they do, and it hurts them for 6.
They had not given up many big plays, and that included in their first meeting, Week 12, when Arizona couldn't find the end zone. But Bump, both you and I know that Arizona's had great games, so we thought, uh-oh. What if the dynamic of this one's going to change? What happened here?
Yeah, going into this game, we knew Arizona was playing some good football. We're watching this game with the crew, and before the ball's thrown, I say, uh-oh, Kobe's beat. They're like, what are you talking about? And then they toss the ball up. And Moore was like, how did you see that? And all I saw was the release of Michael Wilson, and I saw how Kobe was flat-footed. There's a moment where, as a receiver, if I get within 4 yards of you and your feet are flat and you haven't turned to run, I got you. And that's what I saw. I think either there was a miscommunication somewhere. Kobe had his eyes in the backfield, but he was just flat-footed. Michael Wilson had a full head of steam, and Kyler Murray tossed a good football.
Now, it was in this moment that I'm sure every Seahawks fan was thinking Seattle's offense is going to need to do more than it did the last time these two teams met if this is how Arizona's starting. And they did. Geno Smith finds Zach Charbonnet quickly. This was Zach Charbonnet, the pass catcher.
Charbonnet, the single setback on 1st and 10 at the 45. Play fake. Geno sets up a screen. Charbonnet left side. Gets in behind his blocking. Turns outside 30. Down to the 25 and knocked out of bounds at about the 25. A 20-yard gain on that screen pass left side. 1st and 10 Seahawks at the Arizona 25.
Now, Bump, this did not end with a touchdown. Seattle still looking for their first opening possession touchdown of the season. It did end with a field goal, though, to keep Arizona's lead to 7-3. What did you think about Charbonnet getting involved? We knew that he would start, obviously, but involved as a pass catcher fairly early.
Are we still concerned about the screen game? I know they're not always going to hit. But we've seen Charbonnet have several.
I don't think
JSN had several. They tried one with DK that didn't work out. They're not always going to hit. I just like seeing this. Coming out of UCLA, we knew Zach Charbonnet could catch the football. He's just coming into his own. This is his first year in this offense with his offensive coordinator. He's going to make Grubb design some plays for him if he keeps doing this.
All right, Arizona takes over again. 1st and 10 at 4:41 in the first quarter from their own 30. You have Connor with a 1-yard gain. Good pursuit there by Devin Witherspoon. 2nd and 9. 15-yard pass to Harrison Jr. You've got offensive holding that takes it back, but Arizona taking some shots early. And this is another shot by Kyler Murray, but it doesn't pay off. It does for Seattle, though.
There were a couple of Arizona Cardinals in the middle of that scrum at the defensive front. It was Jay Reed, the guy who they had to hold. So 2nd down and 19 now back at his own 21. Starting out in a pistol formation. Now Connor slides over to the right side. 3 receivers left for Kyler Murray. He's going to throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones. He's across the 20, tripped up and dropped at the 19-yard line. For the 2nd time in 3 weeks, Kyler Murray in his own end of the field throws a pick. And except for a bit of a trip, it would have been another pick 6. But as it is, the Seahawks have it near the red zone of the Arizona Cardinals, and Jones comes up with the interception.
Jaron Reed had a great quote post-game about, like, turning back and being like, where'd the ball go? Like, what happened? Oh, Ernest has it.
That's Ernest's dropping to the hook. You run read, you take your run steps. That's a 1-2 step forward. You see the quarterback is getting that back into his drop back. You open your hips, run to the hook, and sometimes you get rewarded just for doing your job. Marvin Harrison was running a dig. Kyler Murray just did not see Ernest Jones. The thing I hated about that play is just the body language of Kyler Murray. And I'm looking at the route. And I'm like, that's on you. But your body language is saying it's on the receiver. It happened several times yesterday. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but big ups to Ernest Jones just getting to his spot, reading the eyes, and having soft hands.
I mean, we know Kyler's had critiques for his body language before, so I don't think you're reading it wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if a conversation happened after that one. All right, Seattle hasn't found the end zone yet. They have had a field goal, though, so they take over from Arizona's 19-yard line, and they make it a short affair.
From the Cardinals' 19, 3 receivers near side. Gino has time. He's going to throw the near side corner. JSN has the touchdown! Seahawks! Quick turnaround, the Seahawks offense on the field. And Gino looks right to the back corner of the end zone. A perfect pass, a rainbow drop in over the top to Jackson Smith-Njigba. A 19-yard reception, his 5th touchdown on the season. And there are Seahawks fans sitting right along the back of the end zone. And he runs right there and is hugged by the 12s. The Seahawks take the lead at 9-7.
What did you see on this 19-yard touchdown pass to Jackson Smith-Njigba?
JSN is getting better at influencing the defense. It's just a corner route, but when he gets to the top of the corner, there's a move called an indicator, a radical movement. That's when you put your foot in the ground and you allow the quarterback to track where your angle is going to be. But when you make that violent step with your left foot, the safety has to react. And if you watch it, the safety stumbles just a little bit. And that's all JSN needed to create that separation, and then a great throw by Gino.
Okay, so Kyler Murray gets picked off by Ernest Jones on the previous drive. Seattle scores quickly with a 19-yard touchdown. So Arizona's taking over at their own 30-yard line with 3:25 left to play in the first quarter. You get a 1-yard rush by Connor. It's 2nd and 9, and Kyler Murray's thinking, you know what? I'm going to find my guy Jones. I'm going to find him, and we're going to move down the field.
2nd down and 9 from the 31. Play fake. Murray steps up in the pocket, looks, flag is down. Throw far side, intercepted again. Kobe Bryant this time. Down the near sidelines, and he's knocked out of bounds in front of the Arizona bench at about the 45. There's a hold. Does it stand? I think the interception will stand.
The 2nd interception of Kyler Murray by Kobe Bryant this year. If I was Kyler Murray, I would hate Kobe. We'd have beef. We are not friends.
Yeah, Kobe just doing what he's supposed to do. I'm going to break down this play a bit more in 4-down territory, but he had his coach's back right here. There was a blown coverage, and he just plays football. At some point, you just play football. You see ball, get ball. Kobe doing a great job being a roamer back there and covering sideline to sideline.
Much like they did with the last interception, Seattle takes over for this one. They are going to score, and they make it short. Again, a 19-yard pass to JSN. Charbonnet picks up 22. He picks up 4. No gain on 2nd and 1, but that's okay. 3 and 1. Right now, just 1 yard to go. They finally find the end zone.
Gino under center. Charbonnet in motion. He gets the handoff, goes from left to right, turns upfield. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks. A lot of motion, a lot of eye candy. Half a dozen tight ends on the field. But all in all, it's Charbonnet with a handoff to the left side. He takes it in from a yard out. His 6th rushing touchdown of the season. And now the Seahawks stretch that lead 16-7. And you can hear the 12s here at State Farm Stadium.
PAT makes it 17 Seattle. 7 Arizona. Bump, I'm curious what you think about their approach deep in the red zone here. So at 1st and 5, Charbonnet carries it. It picks up 4. No gain on 2nd and 1. And then finally he runs it in. I appreciated that they kept trying to run it when against the Jets it felt like they could just do nothing. What did you think about their approach in the red zone here?
I like that they tried something different, but ended up doing the same thing. They're like, look, we're not going to be able to overpower anybody down here, but what we can do is make the defense have to communicate and try to out-leverage them. And that's what I appreciate. It's not like they lined up and said, all right, well, we're going to pack it in again. We're going to try to run up the A and the B gap, because you clearly aren't very good at doing that. Instead, whole bunch of dressing. You get Zach Charbonnet the ball. He finishes off.
All right, let's talk about 3rd down conversions. We're going to get to a key one here. This is on 3rd and 10. This will eventually be a touchdown that we'll get to, but first you need to convert, and they do. A 24-yard pass to JSN.
Gino from the shotgun now motion is fat. Here comes the blitz again. Gino gets rid of the football. Low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40. Tackle down, 1st down. Huge play. Gino avoiding the sack, just gets it away, and JSN catches that worm burner for 24 yards and a 1st down.
Oh my gosh, he
What'd you make of this play, Bump?
And that was after a delay of game. It was 3rd and 5, and then they got pushed back to 3rd and 10. And this Jason, he's got the best hands on the team, and that's a perfect example right there. A lot of guys would have went down to the ground, and they still would have gotten the first down, but you miss all that run after the catch. Jason stays alive, concentrates, fingertips. He's doing what he's been doing the whole year.
All right, 1st and 10. You got a new set of downs. Charbonnet picks up 5. 2nd and 5. He picks up a little bit more this time around.
Hand off Charbonnet, left side. Has a first down and then some. He's down to the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Seahawks. And they are still chasing Zach Charbonnet. 49 yards to pay dirt. His 2nd touchdown of the game. The Seahawks came in saying, we got to find a way to run the ball. Holy catfish they do. 49 yards for another 6 for Charbonnet, and the Seahawks extend their lead 23-10.
Interesting movement on the offensive line here. Tell me what you saw.
It's a guard tackle pull. You start obviously your right side moves to your left essentially, and then your left side down blocks. That's the pin move, and then the pull or getting the big guys going. You get big bodies in front of Zach Charbonnet. He has a good feel for allowing it to develop, not being too slow, but not being too fast. All you need is for your big guys to get on somebody. They don't even have to block them beautifully. Just get in their way, and Zach Charbonnet manipulated the rest.
You leading into this game, and I would say a couple times this season, have called for like, hey, here's what I want to see from the tight ends. I think you could really utilize these guys. And Seattle did here. So we are in the 3rd quarter now, 10:59 on the clock. Seattle at its own 37, 1st and 10, 13-yard pass to A.J. Barner.
Play fake by Gino. Sets, looks, wanted to go deep, now dumps it off short side. Barner makes the catch. Far sidelines. He just plows over the defender. Picks up the first down. Mack Wilson came up and said, I'm going to tackle you. And Barner said, get out of my way, even though I'm only a rookie. A 13-yard gain and a first down, Hawks. Holy moly.
Again, it's a 13-yard gain. It's not the most explosive play, but Bump, I liked what I saw from both Gino and AJ. What did you see?
That was my favorite play of the game, honestly.
Really?
I know Zach Charbonnet went off and had a 51-yard touchdown and had a great game.
Why this
one?
But
you need these physical type of plays. And Gino did a good job with the check down. The Arizona Cardinals made it clear, we're not going to let you fire the ball deep. We're going to stay in cover 3, cover 4. We're going to stay over the top. So Gino had to be patient. And you got a young guy waiting in the flat, and just the way he finishes it. Me and the guys were yelling as soon as AJ got the ball, do not hurdle, do not hurdle, just run through. He loves to jump up, and bad things happen when you do that. Ran through a man. That's just that's physical ball. You need that.
Look, as a very short person, if I was 6'5" or taller, I would try to hurdle over everything. I'd be hurdling over children walking down the street. Just grown men I'd hurdle. All right, let's get to another key 3rd down conversion here again. This drive is going to end with a field goal, but that's okay. We've still got some plays that we really like to take away from it. So this is 3rd and 7, 3-receiver set. It's going to be an 18-yard pass to DK Metcalf.
Now motion back across his Fant from right to left. Gino has time. Throws to the middle. Ball is caught. DK. He fights his way down to the 30-yard line. Thompson on coverage. An absolute dart thrown by Geno Smith. If DK wasn't going to catch it, nobody was.
One of the conversations we were having, particularly earlier this season, was, man, the Seahawks are facing lots of 3rd and longs. It's like average yardage was like 8 point something. This is now the 2nd play where they've converted 3rd and 7 or longer, and both to their top 2 receivers.
Yeah, I prefer not to. I prefer not to be in those situations, but at least you have guys who can get it done. I believe this was the catch where DK uses his body. He uses his body a lot, but people be on DK's head about using his body, but in situations like this, you have to. And those bang-bang plays where there are defenders around you, it's best to do that. And when you're 6'3", 220, it's going to help.
All right, so Jason Myers with the final score, this being on a 35-yard field goal.
From 35. Seahawks already up by 9. Myers. Dixon puts it down. Myers kicks it away. Myers boots it through to add a touch of insult to injury.
And it's 30-18 Bump. We are going to wrap up, though, with Rayshon Jenkins' sack of Kyler Murray for a loss of 16 on the final play of the game.
But 3rd down and 5. Here comes the blitz by the Seahawks. Murray barely sees it. Spoon misses him, but Jenkins doesn't. Mike McDonald dialing one up. A flag comes in late, but I don't think it's going to mean anything, as the Seahawks defense can now celebrate. The clock ticks down. That's it. All zeros. It's going to end on a sack.
All right, you can tell me about this play. You can also tell me, because you have our final word here for plays of the game, about just the second half thoughts, defensive thoughts.
Second half was a bit rough to start offensively and defensively. I mean, the Arizona Cardinals, they're a pretty good football team. They've shown over the past, 3 or 4 weeks that they're statistically one of the best teams in the game. But this is the NFL. You're not just going to blow teams out. There's only a couple games where you put up 50 points this year in the entire NFL. But no, this was a solid game. You needed plays to be made on third down. You did that. I believe the Hawks were like 7 of 15 on third downs. You needed a sack at the end of the game. You got that. It was just a complete game, the most complete game we've seen out of this team all year.
The Holiday Magic online auction is now live. Join Seattle Sports, KIRO News Radio, and Treehouse for the 36th year of Holiday Magic. You can start bidding on incredible one-of-a-kind items. Over the course of today's show, I'll tell you about some of the items you can bid on, like this one. Racing around the field with your favorite celebrity salmon, king, silver, sockeye, and humpy, for an exclusive salmon race experience. I so badly want to be able to get one of those salmon costumes on and race the salmons. But hey, you can bid on it to run with them. The auction runs through December 11th, so don't miss out. Your participation helps provide holiday gifts and year-round support for children and youth in foster care across the state. Visit mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic to learn more and start bidding on some of these awesome packages today. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael
First
Bumpus.
down, this is one of my favorites that you've had. Why are you proud and worried for Sam Darnold?
I'm proud of Sam, man. And sometimes as an analyst, you have to put yourself out there and people call you crazy and things happen, and sometimes they don't happen. But I've been a big supporter of Sam. He was 22 of 28, 5 touchdowns versus Atlanta, 4 straight games with multiple touchdowns thrown and no interceptions. I'm proud of him because he's made himself some money this year. This is why I'm worried. Who is he going to play for next year? I don't think the Vikings are going to sign him to a long-term deal because you got J.J. McCarthy over there. I'm looking at the free agents when it comes to quarterbacks and what teams might need quarterbacks. There's nowhere for him to go. Is he going to be the bridge guy for the Giants because you know they're going to try to get Shador or somebody like that? Does he want to go back to New York? Is the Pittsburgh Steelers, are they just going to roll with Russell Wilson? Can he run it back with the Jets? There's nowhere for him to go at this point. So I'm worried about him because he's going to be lost. There's always this kid when I was in college that had nowhere to go for Thanksgiving. Like, oh, man, I can't get a ticket back home or something like that. Where am I going to go? And typically, you know, as teammates, we find a family for him to roll with or whatnot, and we take care of him. That's how I feel with Sam Darnold. He's playing some good football. He's going to be in the MVP talks. He's not going to get it, but he should be mentioned. But where's he going to go next year? It's going to be interesting. Someone's going to pick him up, but they're going to have to make a difficult decision. I just don't see a lot of space out there for him.
I feel annoyed for Sam that comeback player of the year can now only be about injured players, because now it's going to be like the Falcons have a pretty easy remaining schedule. Maybe Kirk Cousins takes off and plays really well. It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. I think that the NFL was hoping it would be, so that's why they, in part, like switched it to the injured players. But if it wasn't, think of the names we'd be talking about. Sam Darnold, Russell Wilson. Like, we'd be having these fascinating conversations, and instead we're like, I don't know.
Who is a comeback player of the year?
I think it's going to end up being someone like DeMar Hamlin, where...
Didn't he already get it?
No. So that was
Geno
Joe
got
Flacco.
it that year, huh?
Joe Flacco.
Oh, Flacco got it?
So because I think the league's like, oh, we gave it to Geno, we gave it to Joe, enough of this. And it's like, but that's the best story this year.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Second down. JSN is the league's 5th leading wide receiver with 911 yards. But what's more impressive than his total yards and shows Geno probably trusts him the most out of the weapons he has?
He catches the football. As simple as that. You are a receiver. The job description is to catch the rock. He has a 73% catch rate this season, but most importantly, the last 4 games, 92% catch rate. He catches it when you throw it to him. He has 20 receptions on third down. He has 16 that have gone for first downs. That's 5th best in the NFL. He's extremely efficient. He has found his groove. There was a moment this year where we're watching JSN and people are questioning. We're looking at the text lines. Man, he was a first-round pick. He doesn't look like it. Sometimes it takes a while for guys to kind of ease in and do their thing. The crazy part about JSN having such a great year is now you're questioning everything. What are you going to do with DK? What are you going to do with Lockett? You feel like if those two were to not be here, you have a number 1 receiver, but you also understand how important it is to have other threats around that number one receiver so he can continue to eat. So it makes for a great story. I'm happy for him. 5th in the NFL when it comes to receiving yards. He's one of the most efficient receivers in the game, but you still have to support that pass game. So, Jason, keep doing your thing. I think DK's due for a couple big games, and Lockett still needs one. Haven't seen one yet, but JSN is one of the most efficient receivers in the game, and Gino's going to keep tossing him the ball if he keeps coming down with it.
3rd down. What's a suggestion for a rule change that wide receivers will hate but you love?
So I follow this guy. His name is Coach Dan Casey on Instagram, and he has some good stuff. He draws up plays and a real good football mind. And he says, we need to stop rewarding underthrown balls with pass interference calls. And I agree 100%. It's a cheat code for receivers. That ball's underthrown, and you go back to the football. The DB doesn't see it. All you got to do is make contact, and you get a spot foul, which is crazy to me. He said, here's the solution. If you come back to an underthrown ball and the DB makes contact, it's a 5-yard illegal contact penalty and replay the down. I kind of like that because it's the DB is playing the man. He can't play the man and the ball. There is a moment where you have to look for the ball to try to make a play on it, but if the ball is 5 yards underthrown, the QB makes a horrible throw, receivers are getting rewarded.
Right.
So I know I'm going against my crew right now.
What's wrong with you?
But it only makes sense. It's only fair. It's so hard to play defense in this league regardless. Hook these guys up. Probably not going to happen, but I like the suggestion.
4th down. What's an example of players making coaches right?
That Kobe Bryant interception that he had. Maybe not making coaches right. Yeah, he's making coaches right, and he's helping out his teammate. There are some things that happen in a football game, and you have a play design that's drawn up. Maybe you have the defense that you're facing that's perfect for the play and vice versa. But things happen. Someone slipped. Someone gets beat. And now you just have to play football. I know my responsibility, but I got to help my boy out. And that's what it sounds like. There was a bust on that play. Someone didn't do their job. Kobe has the middle of the field. After looking at the film, I'm thinking that there's supposed to be a robber to take away the deep cross of robbers when the safety rolls down to the middle of the field and he's in front of that safety, taking away any of their crossing routes, and nothing was there. So instead of Kobe just continuing to backpedal and get depth, he goes, now I got to play football. Now Marvin Harrison, whoever it was, is wide open. I got to go make some plays. Those are the type of things that keep Kobe Bryant and other players on the field when things get all jacked up and now you use your instincts, play some ball, and make a play. I love seeing it from Kobe.
12s, it's time to get loud. The Seattle Seahawks are back home this weekend for Fan Appreciation Night, and today is the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch them take on the Green Bay Packers at Lumen Field. That's this Sunday, December 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app, APP, to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. An MLB insider went off on a radio host. That's coming up next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
Is that your favorite game of the season for the Seahawks?
Yeah, I don't know how it wouldn't be, because it was really the first time, Brock, they've played complimentary football. It was the first time all year we've seen real, legitimate complimentary football from both sides. Yep. The defense was incredible again, and the offense finally came along for the ride.
And it wasn't fluky. In order to get to those numbers in the NFL, the above 150, you do have an explosive run. And they got it. And the Terminator was out there, man, just churning out the yards. Just awesome.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Contractors, equipment operators, and auto enthusiasts, do not miss this opportunity. The James G. Murphy Company proudly presents the Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction from December 5th through December 12th. Bid on over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, hundreds of cars, pickups, and SUVs, plus a massive assortment of tools, lumber, and equipment. Featured items include a 2012 Komatsu PC360LC excavator, a 2019 John Deere 135G excavator, a 2021 Sany telescopic forklift, 5 Vector trucks like the 2016 Kenworth T880, and a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S convertible. In-person previews take place December the 9th, 10th, and 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Register now and start bidding at murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Not sure how much you know about Progressive Insurance. You may know us for insuring your home and auto. You may know a couple of our commercials. But what you may not know is that since 2013, Progressive has been honoring veterans with vehicle donations through the annual Keys to Progress Veteran Vehicle Giveaway Program, giving back to those who gave so much. Now, you probably didn't wake up today saying, I really wish I knew more about Progressive Insurance, but this seemed like the type of thing people wouldn't mind hearing about. Find out more about how we're dedicated to our customers and communities at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for less. And for a limited time, new customers receive their second month free when they sign up and use promo code SECONDFREE by January 26th. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com, firstmarkinsurance.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
This is Seattle Sports.
Going to throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones. He's across the 20, tripped up and dropped.
The home of the Seahawks. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks had their best rushing game of the season with 176 total yards in Arizona yesterday, and they did not allow a single sack. Mike McDonald talked post-game about everything really coming together for this offensive line and how it helped Geno Smith.
Probably their best game to date, but Geno deserves a lot of credit too. I mean, he's playing really decisive, really accurate. There's a lot of big-time throws going on out there, especially in critical moments at the end of the game. Maybe it's multiple score game, but that can change in a blink of an eye. And so to try to keep moving the sticks on some of those second down throws where it kept drives going, that was big time. And then being able to manage the clock and all the situations. He's doing a tremendous job right now.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
The holidays remind us how good it feels to be proud and confident in our appearance when gathering with friends and family. If hair loss is getting in your way, then my good friends at Advanced Hair offer the proven solution. It's the simple one-day treatment I received, the Advanced FUE. Advanced Hair begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day, and that new hair is guaranteed to grow for life. You choose how much and where, and they do the rest. Advanced Hair has helped tens of thousands of people, including me, and they are the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. World-class Dr. Parango and his top-rated team use breakthrough technology, delivering real results. The before and afters at advancedhair.com are surprising and incredible. Address thinning, receding, or balding today. And to celebrate the holidays, get a free consultation, 250 free hair grafts, and $250 off. Simply call 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
Dino was suffering from a rotator cuff tear in his right shoulder.
Part of the pain is like taking off my shirt. I couldn't even really button my pants. I could actually qualify for a shoulder replacement if I wanted to go that route.
He chose to see Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy.
I heard the commercials for Dr. Wagner. I did my research. I thought about surgery but the recovery time was so long. I didn't want to have to be in a sling. I want to be able to retire in a few months, get back to bike riding and playing golf without any pain in my shoulder.
Dino knew from experience that stem cell therapy works. Dr. Wagner had already helped him recover from osteoarthritis in his thumb, but he's not done yet.
And now 2 years later, I'm having an issue with my left shoulder, so I've got it scheduled, and I'm going to go back to see Dr. Wagner again because it was so successful.
Before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD, at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
It is The Timeline on Bump and Stacy, reading you the top stories you're going to see and hear about on your own timeline. We'll get started in the world of baseball. Jon Heyman, famous MLB insider, was pretty upset during an appearance at WFAN. Radio host Keith McPherson. So before hanging up mid-segment, Heyman was clearly upset over the multiple Aaron Judge, a.k.a. Arson Judge, references, and McPherson insinuating that Heyman gets paid by Scott Boras. It's a lot to explain. Just take a listen.
At some point, I think someone could probably drop it if they're a nice person.
What I think is it just like how I introduced you. Everybody in baseball knows who you are. So one, it's a credit to your work, your following, and how.
By the way, I won't be going out with you again. The whole thing has been a disaster.
That's okay.
I can't even believe you said that to question my integrity.
Are you being serious right now?
I'm being serious. Yeah,
John.
Asking me if I'm getting a cut because I have a relationship with an agent. That's outrageous. I know you're not a journalist. You don't know anything about this. I know you don't, but that's an outrageous comment. You should know that
it's
much.
Friday night at 8:30, John.
You should know that much.
And I am
I'm
not.
done with you.
I am not
I'm
taking
done with
this that
WFAN.
serious.
Goodbye.
John, thank you for joining us,
I can't even
John.
believe it.
Thank you,
I can't
John.
even believe it.
Thank you, John. Appreciate your time.
I can't even believe it. At first, I was like, he's so calm. Not calm, but monotone.
Yeah.
So this obviously goes back to the biggest signing of the 2022 offseason, and it was where Aaron Judge would go. And Jon Heyman tweeted, Arson Judge appears headed to the Giants, in a now infamous tweet that many people still make fun of. Here's the thing. Jon Heyman is probably one of the most well-compensated and well-known MLB insiders. With that is going to come things that people just remember and make fun of you for and are like Twitter famous. Like, it just happens. You got to get over it.
Yeah, he seems a little wound up. Keith McPherson didn't. His whole approach was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Like, come on. We've known each other for a while. Things happen. I'm feeling McPherson right now. I think Heyman, sometimes people have horrible weeks, horrible months, something happens, and then something triggers you, and then you just misunderstand something. That's what I'm getting from this situation. I could be wrong, but just McPherson's response in general leads me to believe he's like, man, come on. Like, what are you doing?
And I would feel the same way. Like, there is a certain point when you just go like, bro, I'm sorry, but you can't be that sensitive. Like, you get paid a ton of money.
Dude.
You have a pretty cool job.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Jon Heyman just needs to be like, look, I get connected with some of the best stories, and I've dropped some of the biggest stories and broken some of the biggest news, and sometimes you get it wrong.
Sometimes you get it wrong.
You know, I'm not hitting 1,000 as a reporter, but I'd say I got Hall of Fame numbers. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
If it was me. Ian, did you remember like another Jon Heyman story?
Yeah, speaking of Heyman, this story that he wrote about in the Post last night kind of explains maybe why Soto might have chosen the Mets over the Yankees when he was there. Apparently, there was a security guard who wouldn't let Soto's family into the locker room. Kind of a Ken Griffey situation, if you remember what happened when Junior wouldn't be allowed into the locker room and he swore he'd never play for the Yankees. That kind of rubbed Soto the wrong way, and the Mets found out about it, and Steve Cohen brought his wife and his father-in-law and Edgar Suero, who's the Mets traveling secretary, and they explained the whole family dynamic of the club and the family logistics, how they could travel with him the whole time.
Your family is welcome here. We're
Right.
not going to have people thinking that, like, you know, the team is bigger.
Exactly.
Especially for baseball, man. They travel
Come
so
on.
much. They're away from their families so much. You want them around as much as possible. Yankees fumbled.
Imagine being the security guard who may have caused a bristling of Juan Soto that ended up making him not re-sign with the Yankees. But that's a culture thing, too. Like, while you may just be a random security guard, it is also clearly a cultural thing with the Yankees of, like, we're bigger than you. We're bigger than whoever our players are. We're bigger than you. We're the Yankees. You should be praying that you play for us.
Look, I didn't make any type of money like Juan Soto. Clearly, not the athlete he was either. But if I ever ask the Seahawks or Wazoo to help out with the family, or can my family attend something or make some accommodations, they do. And because it's just out of love for the service that you provided for them. And now you're talking about one of the greatest players of our generation, and you're not bending over backwards for that guy? Tripping.
When Tulane head coach John Summerall was asked about the UNC coaching vacancy, he had a fiery response.
Am I here? I mean, my good. Do you want me to leave? No. All right. I get asked about it every day right now, and I'm like, I mean, I know we lost 2 games. Everybody wants to run me out of town. But nothing's getting to me right now. I can say that. Nothing's getting to me. Could that change? I mean, I don't know. If some newspaper tripled your salary, you might go. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm very happy. Other than we've lost the last 2 games, I'm pissed off about that, and everybody probably wants me to leave because we've lost twice. I don't know. My kids are mad at me.
Now, also good to solidify, well, I'm still here because drawing interest for that same job opening, Bill Belichick. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough being a head coach and having your names connected to stuff. And I'm sure you get tired at times answering the same questions over and over and over again. But that's honestly part of the job. You're going to get asked those questions because coaches do leave, players do leave, and these guys are trying to do a job and try to find out. But I think that if you address it the right way and say, look, guys, I'm here until I'm here. I'm not going to answer any more questions about that. I want to focus on my team. Then I think they'd calm down a little bit. It's just you got to know how to work the media, man. Some of these guys get a bit too frustrated, and maybe it's because they are tired of answering the same questions. But there's a way to kind of get out of that without making a big deal about it.
All right, well, speaking of that job opening, talks between North Carolina and Bill Belichick continue for that head coaching job. Sources told ESPN that there will be some resolution of some kind this week, but that Belichick confirmed he's had a couple good conversations with UNC Chancellor Lee Roberts and said, we'll see how it goes. We'll see. Meanwhile, on Fox NFL Sunday, Kurt Menefee asked Tom Brady, Gronk, and Julian Edelman about the college rumors.
We heard this week that Bill Belichick is actually interviewing for college jobs. Can you imagine him coaching college?
No.
Absolutely not.
I think there's a lot of things he could do, and obviously he's tremendous, and even showing his personality. But getting out there on the recruiting trail and dealing with all these college kids, that would be.
Could you imagine
with NIL?
Could you imagine Bill on a couch? Recruiting an 18-year-old?
You really want to come here? I mean, we don't really want you anyway, but I mean, I guess you could come. We'll figure out if you play.
Bring your parents and use us as a third party, you're gone. You're off the team.
I love their memories of a very, very tough, blunt, rude Bill Belichick. And like, how's that going to work with an 18-year-old?
Grumpy old man. The only thing that gives Bill Belichick some type of advantage is that college football is turning into a professional sports. It's almost like the NFL, but they're right. That recruiting stuff is tough, man. You are on the road. You're away from your family, but he does have like a 23-year-old girlfriend, so maybe she can teach him how to talk to these guys and grab a few 5 stars.
All right, the Holiday Magic online auction is now live. Join Seattle Sports, KIRO News Radio, and Treehouse for the 36th year of Holiday Magic. You can start bidding on incredible one-of-a-kind items like exclusive sports packages, dining experiences, staycations, and much more. The auction runs through December 11th, so don't miss out. Your participation helps provide holiday gifts and year-round support for children and youth in foster care across the state. Visit mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic to learn more and start bidding today. Did you see the one about the Derek ball?
Nah.
So apparently, there are like really cool packages in the Holiday Magic online auction, right? Like you can race with the Mariners salmon. You can have pregame on-field passes for the Seahawks Vikings game. Like there's all kinds of really cool stuff. They have like you can drop in and check out shows with the station. There's like a fishing trip, all cool stuff. And then there's one item that I think is objectively hilarious. It is a Mike Holmgren signed football, which is cool, right?
Yep.
He's about to be a Hall of Fame coach. Only the ball is addressed to Derek. So it's called the Derek ball. And I think the bidding when I checked last night, I don't know where it's at now, is $125.
$125.
$125.
All right.
But if you are if you're anyone, it's a Mike Holmgren autograph football. It's pretty cool. But if you're a Derek, you're a Derek,
you got to go get that.
It's DEREK, but you could always maybe get a Sharpie and add an I.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
I'm just saying, there is an autographed football addressed to Derek from Mike Holmgren that's available for the auction, so we're calling it the Derek Ball.
I like that.
Anyways, lots of funny stuff on this thing, and it's all for a really good cause, working with Treehouse to make sure children and youth in foster care across the state get some holiday gifts and year-round support. So, again, mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic. Coming up next, the latest from Seahawks head coach in an exclusive interview with 710 Seattle Sports.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gino has time. He's going to throw the near side corner. JSN has the touchdown! Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks.
People buy what they believe in. Truth be told, with the brands that we sell here, with the exception of Genesis, our luxury brand, every franchise has multiple competitors in a nearby proximity. We have the benefit of the Lee Johnson reputation of doing the right thing and treating people right, giving people a comfortable and a safe place to do business. Then you have the salespeople, the individual people that you're going to meet. Each individual person has an opportunity to sort of unveil our company spirit and their own individual personality and their ability to serve. I've told people, hey, honestly, everybody makes a good car. But once you get down to it, it's going to be about who you're buying into. As much as you're selling the car, you're selling yourself.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Guys, your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, weight, and even ED. Schedule your free testosterone level check with the team at Revive Men's Health Seattle. Text the word BOOST, that's BOOST, to 65555, or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Message and data rates apply. Message frequency varies. Text help for help and stop to cancel. ReviveMen'sHealth.com/privacy policy for how to opt in. Info will be used, and ReviveMen'sHealth.com/terms of use for terms of service.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Join Seattle Sports and Treehouse for the 36th year of Holiday Magic,
helping provide holiday gifts and year-long support for the more than 6,000 youth and young adults in foster care statewide.
When a child receives a holiday gift or a winter coat, they create memories that last long after the chill and winter passes.
Over 36 years of Holiday Magic, we've delivered 182,000 gifts across our state.
So join Seattle Sports and Treehouse and share the joy of the holiday season.
Text MAGIC to 888-973-5476 to learn more. We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
It's the holiday season and the perfect time to gift yourself with a new home for the new year. For a limited time, take advantage of incredible savings and incentives during D.R. Horton's It's Your Year savings event. Going on now through December 22nd. Your perfect home for every holiday season is waiting for you. To find yours, visit any of our participating D.R. Horton communities or visit us at drhorton.com and discover the D.R. Horton difference. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
You gotta love football season, but when it comes to your windows and doors, you don't want any fumbles. Steve Rabel here, reminding you to trust locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their selection of windows and doors can't be beat, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
On the Mike McDonald Show, an exclusive interview following every Seahawks game, typically on a Monday. It'll be on a Friday after Christmas, though. The latest from the Seahawks head coach. So we have a couple things to get to from Mike McDonald here. We'll start with what was better in the run game.
It's funny. I mean, you get these questions about, like, when we do good stuff, like, hey, what button did you push? It's like, no, we just kept doing what we said we were going to do and stuck to the course. And and kept growing. And I think you've seen in the last few weeks some, like I've said, like there's some really good stuff on tape that just a block here, a detail there, a scheme variety here, a change up there. Like there's a couple things, and you just keep chasing those things, and you keep playing really hard, and guys stay bought in, and you run the ball hard. Then good things happen.
Bump, I like the question and the answer here, because the question is one that me, a non-player, non-coach, wonders. I go, you were 28th with the run game entering this game, and then you burst onto the scene with like the most, I think, second most rushing yards allowed by Arizona this year. Why? What happened? What clicked? And I liked his answer.
It's not like he came into practice or a meeting one day and said, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do to fix this problem.
I've isolated the issue.
This is it. If we do this one thing, we should be good to go. It's day by day, week by week, reiterating what needs to be done, putting guys in different positions, maybe trying to communicate it differently, or just seeing steps being made in the right direction slowly and it all coming together at one point. We've seen the offensive line have some changes. We've seen the linebackers have some changes, the secondary. So it's a bunch of things. It's a constant, you're trying to put the puzzle together, and sometimes you're missing some pieces. My mom does puzzles all the time, man, and she'll do the puzzle, and there'll be a piece missing. It'll be in the box, and she forgot to grab it out the box. And she's, I found the piece. There it is. Bam. The puzzle's done. I don't think this puzzle is done, but you're starting to see what this team can be. So it's fluid. It's a fluid situation, and it's always changing, and that's what coaching is looking at your team, seeing what they're good at, what they're weak at, looking at the personnel, communicating with the coaches, and trying to put the right formula of guys, communication, and scheme together and watching this team progress.
Quite a bit of the conversation was understandably then about the offensive line. It's been easily the Achilles heel of this team, and they had their best performance of the year on Sunday against the Cardinals. So McDonald talked about having a lot of confidence in them moving forward, seeing continuity on the offensive line. And then Brock and Salk got into a conversation about why you don't see more power, counter, and gap at the NFL level.
Well, I mean, I think you need to be able to hang your hat on something. On most things, I mean, the league right now is a mid to wide zone to duo with some sort of perimeter answers, and then in the gun, it's a lot of like RPO, and there's a little bit more gap in the gun. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that is, honestly. I think a lot of teams just kind of path dependence on what they're familiar with and what they feel confident in running. And, like the zone schemes and the wide, it's easy to like run off the rock and try to like create a new line of scrimmage with the zone stuff. And it's easy to marry that up with some of the actions and some of the movements and things like that. But I don't know what the actual right answer is behind that.
Now, if you're someone who understands exactly and is fascinated by this conversation and has these conversations with your friends, this next question isn't for you. But Bump, for those who are like, hey, I'm interested, but what are they talking about? This is a little X's and O's. Can you pare it down a bit?
So zone runs are when your offensive linemen just get downhill right now. They're stepping to the right, they're flowing to the right, and typically your guards are getting to the backers. There's no like wrapping around. It's like everything's downhill in front of you. Wide zone is just what it sounds like. Now the steps of the offensive linemen are really wide. They're trying to create an edge on the outside so the running back can get there and get your inside zone where they're still stepping right, but they're not expanding it as much. And I think that the league has gone to that a bit more because it's easier to RPO off of that, and that it allows your running back more freedom to be creative with how he runs the football. I think that's why they lean on the zone more with K9 than they do with Zach Charbonnet. The gap scheme is when you see a center block down, a guard wrap around, the center, the guard, and the tackle block down, then the left side, they're moving, they're wrapping around the right side and getting up top. So whenever you see guys blocking down, guys pulling, that's the gap scheme. And I think that it's running back contingent, it's philosophy contingent, and it's lineman contingent. Some guys are great in the gap scheme when it comes to the offensive linemen. I think that we saw some good gap scheme this weekend with the Seattle Seahawks.
I was going to build on that a little bit. Gino said that gap scheme worked really well for us. He said if you pull a guy and pin one, you're up on the linebackers pretty quickly. There was someone who earlier texted in, Bump, can you explain this pinning and pulling kind of situation? Like, what's that actually look like? What's it mean? What did you see from Seattle?
It's just what I said. So let's look at a center. And the center typically has a guy right over him, to the right of him, to the left of him. Right? When they're to the right and to the left, that's when we're going to see more pin. Pin is I'm pinning that guy down, right? I'm blocking down. We call him the one tag. I'm going to block that guy down and allow my guard to wrap around me and get up to that safety. It can be a guard. It can be a guard and a tackle, whatever. That's the pin and then the pull. Yep. That's what that is.
And you saw that in this game with Charbonnet. Like you saw, I mean, you can think of the plays where the linemen are kind of moving downfield or maybe, cross ahead of him as a blocker. You're seeing some of those concepts. Okay, let's get to, I have one cut on the defense here. Let's get to it. Thoughts on the collective defensive effort?
This game was a little different because we gave up the touchdown early. So with our guys, man, like the mentality we've had, they don't get phased. They just keep on plugging away and keep playing and sticking together. And I think our coaches are doing a great job of in-game adjustments and communicating with me on things that they're seeing, and I think we're working really well together right now, especially getting out of drives, giving me feedback, and when things happen, we're on top of it. So just pleased with our process right now, the mentality. I mean, I talk about the same things all the time, but I really believe that's what drives good performances,
Bump, this is how I know the defense has taken a massive step forward because they had 2 takeaways in this one. And then they also held the Cardinals to 18 points. And I thought, not their best effort of the season. I'm like, not their best game was almost how I prefaced this. And I thought, that's how I know they've turned the corner.
Yeah, because now you have higher expectations for them. And they still took the ball away twice and got Kyler Murray all frustrated and stuff. But you feel like they left some plays out there. And that's a good feeling to have. But then at the same time, in the same game, they also felt like there were moments where they were on point and there was nothing that Kyler Murray could do. Moyer pointed this out during the postgame show was that the pocket was collapsed. Kyler Murray only ran a couple times, got outside the pocket late in the game and picked up a first down. But for the most part, they could have a good job of keeping him in the pocket, not getting too far upfield, creating those lanes for him to escape. It was a disciplined type of performance, but then towards the end of the game, you're in prevent, they're moving the ball down the field, they're going to get some janky yards.
All right, halfway through, here's what's still to come. Coming up at 1 p.m., we're opening up phone lines, taking your calls. So get ready to sound off about the Seattle Seahawks. Before we get to that, though, we're going to take a look around the NFL at 12:30, figure out what went on in a few more games in Week 14. And then before that, what caught our eye in this one? That's next.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's funny. I mean, you get these questions about, like, when we do good stuff, like, hey, what button did you push? It's like, no, we just kept doing what we said we were going to do. And there's a couple things, and you just keep chasing those things, keep playing really hard, and guys stay bought in. Then good things happen. I think now it's great that, we have probably some more confidence in what we're doing, what we're trying to get done. Just everybody sticking together and working towards what we want to look like.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Innovation is at the heart of every Polestar car, and their electric SUV Polestar 3 is no different. From the intuitive infotainment system to its head-turning design, Polestar 3 is for drivers unwilling to compromise. That means merging a spacious, luxurious interior with the torque and handling of a sports car. Visit Polestar Bellevue today for end-of-year lease offers and book a test drive for Polestar 3 at polestarbellevue.com.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with available financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing's available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
If the playoff picture has you stressed, let us give you something to breathe easy about. Hey, it's Dr. Ryan Stern of the Stern Sinus Center. Let us fix your ear, nose, and throat problems. Let's make your congestion, sinusitis, snoring, and allergies a non-issue. We can diagnose and treat everything, from allergy workups and treatments to modern nasal breathing procedures to advanced balloon sinuplasty. Come see us in Federal Way and Auburn or at sternsinus.com. That's sternsinus.com.
Television sales on Black Friday set new records as millions of Americans snapped up the hot deals. But a lot of people were out of town or too busy to take advantage of the special pricing. So, how about a redo? Right now, you've got a second chance to save big on many of the top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs. Where? At Video Only, where the smart shoppers go. So, don't miss out. Check out Video Only now, or
you'll be sorry.
Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For over 55 years, you've trusted us for roofing, siding, windows, decking, and gutters. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule a free estimate. State Roofing and Exteriors.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. 6%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is December 15th. So call now. You'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Take your game day experience to the next level with a Mariner Suite. Suites are perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, client meetings, and that company outing you've been trying to plan for months. Enjoy first-class catering, VIP parking, custom setups for 14 to 400 people, and more, all with the help of a dedicated Mariners rep. Suites start at $125 per person, and season ticket members get 15% off. Reserve now at mariners.com/suites.
Munoz strikes out the side, and the ball game is over.
This is Seattle Sports.
Charbonnet in motion. The right turns upfield. He's in. Touchdown, Seahawks.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
It's Monday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys are hosting the Cincinnati Bengals. The 4-8 Bengals are trying to end a 3-game skid. It's their second 3-game losing streak of the season. The Cowboys have beaten the Bengals 5 times in a row and are 7-1 at home against them. Kickoff at 5:15 p.m. on ESPN, ABC, and ESPN+.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. It's What Caught Our Eye, Week 14 edition. So we're going to probably start with Seattle, obviously. But I've got some stuff from around the rest of the NFL, Bump. I'm sure you do, too. And then coming up at 12:30, we're going to take a look around the NFL specifically. So pretty heavy NFL hour here before we take your calls at 1 p.m. Without further ado, let's get to it. Bump, you're getting us started here with What Caught Our Eye. So what caught your eye in Week 14?
What caught mis ojos? It would have to be a stat that I saw. You guys also, Zach Charbonnet, do his thing. And it's a skewed stat, but you know what? It's going to sound great when he's 45 years old and he's retired from the NFL. He had 91 yards after contact the other day. Now, he got touched on that 51-yard touchdown, so that's more than half of the yards right there. But Zach Charbonnet was finding his way through the offensive line, that first wave of defenders, getting on that second level and forcing DBs, safeties to try to make a tackle on him, and I appreciate that. I think that's something that he needed to see, that the Hawks wanted to see, and that the offensive line needed to feel. There's a confidence that this team should naturally have after the performance that JSN had. 134 yards on the ground. He also had 59 receiving yards, a career day for Zach Charbonnet.
I started 10:30 with an apology for a reason, because I know that there are times this year, not necessarily where I thought, like, I don't like Charbonnet, but I thought that the gap between Walker and Charbonnet was noticeable enough where I was like, why isn't Walker in this situation? In fact, you guys have texts from me, you and Curtis, where we've all been watching at Lumen, and I'm texting you guys in the press box going, wait, where's Walker? Why is Charbonnet in here? And it's just because I hadn't seen a type of explosiveness that makes you really excited. It makes you think, oh, this guy can break free. It completely changed my mind. This performance completely changed my outlook on what Zach Charbonnet is capable of. I mean, he looked like a second-round running back, which is exactly what they used on him.
He definitely earns more touches. But let me remind y'all of a man named Ken Walker who is capable. I think he needs to take some of the things that Zach Charbonnet did and put it in his game. Just do what the run is telling you to do. But he can take that thing 60 yards at any moment.
Yeah, I feel like it's a forgot about Dre moment, but with Ken Walker, where it's like, please don't. Ken Walker's going to go off and have some like crazy game, and people are going to be like, I've always said Ken Walker is for sure the starter. He's so great. It's a good problem to have, as you noted earlier. Let's get to our next one. I'm going to stick with interesting stats from this one. I saw it from Brady Henderson. He pulled it from ESPN Research. Geno Smith was pressured on 17% of dropbacks, 5 of 30, his lowest pressure rate faced as a member of the Seahawks. Also noted by Brady, his 2 lowest pressure rates of the season have now come in the last 2 weeks. Now, Bump, I am hesitant to say the offensive line is turning a corner the way that I truly, truly believe the defense has turned a corner. But I also think it's perfect timing in an NFC West race where Seattle's finally able to pull ahead, get a little bit of breathing room. I know the Rams now are on their tail, but if you were to choose 2 weeks when your offensive line had the best 2 games of the season, you'd choose the last 2. You'd say, yeah, show me improvement, show me steps forward. I noticed offensive linemen getting downfield a bit as lead blockers. Obviously, you see a great offensive line performance reflected with no sacks, with a great run game. I feel like you've said this too. If we are going to critique the offensive line when they play poorly and when they struggle, we have to remember to praise them when they play well. So that's my first takeaway here.
Yeah, the offensive line needs some love because we've seen them struggle. We've seen this run game have no gaps, no lanes. We've seen Geno Smith stand there with 3 guys swatting at the football, no space for him to step up and throw the rock. So this was a good performance against a defense that was playing top 3 ball at the time.
Yep.
People might look at the Cardinals and look at the record and say, oh, it's the Cardinals. You're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do anything in this league.
No.
And the Cardinals were playing some good football at the time. So the fact that this offensive line with a rookie in there were able to get their footing right and do some things to help the run game in the past is essential. You're going to need it because this is the most important 2-game stretch that this team has had all year. If they can split these 2 games, maybe even win both of them, we're feeling really good about their chances to win the division. And you have to win the division to get into the playoffs. There's a way that you can get into the playoffs by not winning the division, but you need the Packers to struggle. You need some other teams to stumble.
Yeah.
And I don't see that happening.
I don't either. So I think it's going to be win and in Week 18 if the Rams and Seahawks hold steady with the current lead that Seattle has. The one compliment sandwich I'll give is we had so many callers on Friday. Our question was what you better not see. So many callers said, I don't want to see self-inflicted issues, particularly like pre-snap penalties, false starts, things like that.
Yeah.
We did still see a few of those. I had starred a possession in the 4th quarter at 12-10 in the 4th.
It was bad.
Yep. False start by Charles Cross makes it 2-10, 2-15. Then you get a holding call on Abe Lucas. Now you're at 2nd and 25. And then you just are kind of out of options. And what's such a bummer is on 3rd and 25, Zach Charbonnet rattles off a 17-yard run. That would have converted. That's an explosive play. It would have been great for you, except now you're at 4th and 8 and you're just punting.
Yeah,
so
there's a reason why he was able to, though.
Right.
Because they're playing the sticks.
Yes.
But
they're very important
essentially,
to know.
you are correct. Yeah.
But and you absolutely, you're correct. The point being that, like, it was a great performance. I'm not even mad at it. I didn't even knock down their grade at all because of those false starts. But it's like, okay, now imagine you're playing the Vikings and it's tied. Maybe you're down a score. It's in the 4th quarter. You got to score on every possession. You're facing 3rd and 25.
Yeah, that's tough. You become predictable.
You know?
Everyone knows, like, look, they're either going to throw it to the sticks or run a delay just like they did and try to pick up some yards.
Yes.
But you had 9 penalties this week. Last week, I think you had 5. So you took a step in the wrong direction. The Cardinals were a bit more efficient with 6 penalties of their own.
Yeah.
But that's football. My thing is keep it under 10 penalties, and you're typically going to have a chance to win a game.
Too. All right, what you got?
All right. Well, caught mis ojos. It's DK. And the reason why it's DK is because as a receiver, there's an ego that we play with. I used to play with some of the best receivers in Washington State's history. Jason Hill, Brandon Gibson, myself, Charles Dillon. We all played in the NFL. And when someone gets fed, we're like, I need to eat too. I need to eat too. And there's a mental challenge that you have to have in those moments, because when someone is hot and they're grooving, they're catching the football, making plays, the offensive coordinator, they're going to start calling plays for them. And you have to be disciplined enough to still run your routes hard, to know you're probably not going to get this football, but I got to hold a safety. I got to hold an outside linebacker. There are things that I can do that are for the greater good of the team. And not once did I see DK like not run a route hard or have poor body language, but he has to be feeling some type of way because he's been the guy here for what, 4 or 5 years, and now this youngster is here and he's making plays. So I applaud DK for staying focused and staying in there. Everything that I've seen when it comes to his route running and his body language is that he is still invested in this team. He still wants to see them have success, and it has to be tough for one's ego at times. But if DK's listening, you know dang well you are liable to go off for 120 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So just stay at it.
I'm going to jump straight to mine because it's about another receiver, and I know you're going to have a take. So I'll go to mine. What caught my eye? I think what people love about the holidays is nostalgia, right? Nostalgia is typically a really good feeling. Like it's warm, it's fuzzy, makes you kind of ignore the passing of time because you only think about it in a really good way. You're kind of stuck in time. I had some Tyler Lockett nostalgia, but not in the best way. That deep target he had in the end zone, it is a tough catch, and I know you can kind of explain, like the difficulty of that or the degree of difficulty. But there's another version of Tyler Lockett that catches that. And there's a version of Tyler Lockett, and this is the nostalgia I was having, that used to make these improbable catches, particularly obviously in his time with Russell Wilson, because that went over kind of the peak of his career. And I flashed back to a caller that we'd had, I think last week, who said that he just wanted like one more great Tyler Lockett game. And in that moment, I thought, I do too.
Yeah.
I had that kind of like, whatever. The Seahawks have won this one. They got the lead. They never gave it up. And so while that would have added on and it would have, kind of just made it feel even more dominant, you didn't need it per se, but I sure missed it.
Yeah, that was a play that we've seen 16 come down with the football time after time. And that was a hell of a throw. I mean, that where Geno placed that football was where only Lockett could get it. Here's the one thing I'll say to back up Lockett or support him in that situation. One target. He got one target. It's hard to find your groove and be locked in 100% of the time when you only have one target. But there's a reason why he only had one target. Is it because he's not getting open? Is it because he's now the third option? Whatever it is, when your number is called, we're used to seeing Tyler Lockett make that play. So I'm hoping we haven't seen the last of that. I think he's still got some juice left in that tank. But you're right. When I saw Geno throw the football to Lockett, I was mentally already celebrating because in my mind, I'm thinking he always comes down with that football. Let's go ahead and get it. He had it, just couldn't come down with the football. He's got at least 8 more of those in him. So let's use them all up these next few weeks.
I just want like one Tyler Lockett hero moment, like just one where we all go like, man, because there used to be so many times during a season where I'm sure Seahawks fans would feel like, man, I'm really grateful for Tyler Lockett. Like he saved that play by just kind of appearing out of nowhere and then catching this like end zone fade. But that version feels a little distant.
But also here's something that you'll never get from Tyler Lockett. Complaining.
Yep.
Like he's going to be a professional. He's been in this league for so long because of his skill, his approach, and his professionalism. So I'm not worried about Tyler Lockett when it comes to being a distraction or anything like that.
All right, what you got?
What caught me's ojos? I got to go with JSN.
Yeah.
He's the 5th leading receiver when it comes to yards in the NFL. And we've seen this happen week after week. We've seen him have his big games, but it didn't feel like he was going to ascend that quickly to being a top 5 receiver when it comes to yards. And he hasn't had like huge games. He got one really big game, the loss to the Rams in overtime, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns, then 110 after that. Then after that, it's 77 and a touchdown, 74, 82. He's just been consistent. There's one game where he didn't reach over, 20 yards, 2 games, 9 yards against Atlanta and then 19 yards against the Denver Broncos. He has 3 games over 100 yards this year. He's just been real steady, and they're starting to design plays for him. He's becoming a focal point. The slot receiver in today's NFL can be the most explosive receiver in the game just by the matchups and the way that teams call their route combinations or whatnot. You're still going to get the 80-yard touchdowns from the outside guys, but we're seeing JSN have 20-yard gain, 24-yard gain, 19-yard gain on third down. So the matchups are what's helping them too. You get safeties over you. You might get a nickel. Sometimes you get an outside backer. That's why I love when they start to move guys around in motion and all that stuff because you're looking for matchups. JSN is a nightmare for anybody right now.
All right, what caught my eye? Let's head outside of, I was going to say Seattle, outside of Glendale for this one.
Okay.
Bump. I'm looking at the Minnesota Vikings. Now 11-2. They got a win, a dominant win over the Falcons. What's crazy is the Falcons passed for 338 and rushed for 158. They had 496 net yards. It didn't matter because Sam Darnold had 5 touchdowns, 133 for Jordan Addison, 132 yards for Justin Jefferson, 5 touchdowns between those 2 receivers. I know that the Vikings are 1 game behind the Lions, but I think the gap between the 2 teams is a little bigger than that. That being said, I am nervous bump. I am nervous. I am scared. I am very worried, not just about the strength of the remaining Seahawks schedule, but about this team in particular.
The first tandem in Vikings history with over 100 yards and 2 touchdowns apiece. At least 2 touchdowns apiece. And we've had, Dante Culpepper roll through there. You've had Cunningham roll through there. Jeff George play some ball there.
Percy Harvin.
Percy, Randy Moss.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been some ballers out there, but never a tandem like these two right here. Sam Darnold is only 27 years old. He's not even old. He's still a baby, 27 years of age, and he's getting better and better, and he's getting more confident. 5 touchdowns, and he only threw the ball like 26 times. So now he's efficient. You should be worried, Stace.
Yeah.
You should be scared because the Packers are a young, unassuming team. Most people aren't going to be able to name players on the Packers outside of Jordan Love and Josh Jacobs. A lot of people aren't. But they got Kraft over there. They got Dobbs. They got a bunch of receivers, about 3 or 4 receivers over 400 yards. They got some guys over there. So we're going to see what it's like to play against the best in the best division in the game. And it's going to be a measuring stick. I think they can get the Packers, though. It has to be an efficient game. You got to call some turnovers. The Vikings is a game that scares me the most.
All right, that was What Caught Our Eye Week 14 edition. Right now, let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
The Kansas City Chiefs clinched their 9th straight AFC West championship yesterday in another last-minute win. What's the real headline?
You know, there comes a point when a team stops being lucky and starts being real. Did I borrow that from the real world? Yes. Was I a child of the 90s? Yes. But it's also true because while I think that there's a lot of luck on Kansas City's side and their stats are not quite as good as their record is, there comes a point when you go, well, they're winning. What do you want them to do? I mean, their last 15 one-score games, they are 15-0.
They're vulnerable, but they know that if Pat Mahomes has the football and you can go ahead with this drive here, you're probably going to do it. Pat Mahomes, 7 game-winning drives this year. Against Vegas, the Chargers twice, bless your heart. Cincinnati, Denver, Carolina, and Tampa. Big ups Carolina, man. Only 3 games, but they're only 3 wins, but they're playing better than what their record says. They almost lost to the Panthers, the Raiders, and the Chargers. They have the 7th scoring defense. That's what's keeping them in these games, allowing 19.4. That's the 2nd lowest in the last 7 seasons when it comes to the Chiefs. The 3rd rushing defense, allowing 88.3. That's the lowest in 7 seasons. They have a good recipe. A defense that will not let you score and you won't be able to run the football, and a quarterback that only needs about 90 seconds on the clock for him to go down the field and win a game for you. It's stressful winning games like this, but I'm sure it's still fun if you're a Chiefs fan. They're going to get the number 1 seed. I think 9 straight AFC West titles at this point. They are the standard in the league, and they're not even playing the best football. I would pick the Lions, the Vikings, and the Eagles had a tough weekend this past weekend, but there are teams playing better football, but there are no teams that are winning at the rate that they are.
What was you said 7 game-winning drives?
7 game-winning drives.
Benjamin Solak, who I got that 15 one-score game stat from, had another one about Mahomes, and I couldn't remember if it was over Mahomes' career or over like the last, season or 2. So I don't remember the time frame, and I apologize. But his point was very related to your stat about those game-winning drives, where in games where the Chiefs are trailing in the 4th quarter, Mahomes is 500, meaning, according to Benjamin Solak, Mahomes is just as likely to win a game as he is to lose when the Chiefs are already losing in the 4th quarter.
Nuts.
That's crazy. Like, it doesn't matter. They're down 2 scores in the 4th. It doesn't matter because he has won half these games.
Shanahan's the other way.
Yeah.
He down in the 4th, probably ain't going to win that game.
All right, what's next?
Headline rewrites.
Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract, the largest deal in professional sports history. What's the real headline?
It's a can't-miss deal for the Mets, who have never, ever famously overpaid anyone ever.
Nah, there's no day dedicated to a player that they've overpaid and still paying them today.
Nope.
Not at all. This one, all contracts are overpayments. If you are the top 5% in the league in any sport, it's going to be an overpayment. But if you got it, you got it. Sometimes when I was in college, we used to get our checks. I forgot what they're called. They're like not our scholarship checks, but it was like a reimbursement checks. No, it's like they used to give us checks for clothes that we bought and all that stuff. We show them receipts. It's like, look, we're helping you out. Man, I go and spend $100 like it was nothing because it didn't affect me like that. if you got almost $1 billion to spend on a player and you can still build, you still can go out and try to sign Alonso, who's out there looking for a long deal for if you're talking about the Mets. They tried to get Yamamoto. They missed out on him. They said, like, the distance was just too much. Obviously, you're from Japan. You want to play on the West Coast. They've shown that this is what they do, and they've done a great job of wooing Juan Soto over there to their side. I hope it works out for him, man, because he will be one of the most loved and hated men in the state of New York at the same time.
Man, when we were in the sports pit, I was just kind of thinking out loud because obviously his deal is noteworthy not just because he was the biggest name free agent this cycle, but because it beats Ohtani's deal. And so I said, do you think he deserved that over Ohtani? Because obviously Ohtani is a top pitcher too. Then I read this really interesting collection of stats from Jack Bauer, unrelated to 24 fame, of Yahoo Sports. And he said, here's a list of every MLB player. Here's a list of every MLB player with at least 3,500 plate appearances and a 150 OPS plus before turning 26. So basically, these are like the best hitters at that age. Ty Cobb, Mickey Mantle, Mike Trout, Jimmy Fox, Roger Hornsby, Juan Soto.
Yeah.
Ahead of Hank Aaron, ahead of Mel Ott. Like, it is unbelievable.
Any baseball player who enters the bigs at 19 and you're making an impact. Baseball's an old man's game. You don't hit your prime until you are in your 30s. Some guys don't even see the bigs until they're in their late 20s. For him to come up at 19 and do the things that he was doing, you knew this was going to happen. And big ups on him for taking a chance on himself, turning down a contract worth like $400 million and saying, nah, I'm going to be worth more. It worked out for him.
And from his 2024 World Series, he was 313, 522, 563. I know Aaron Judge didn't show up, but Juan Soto did.
Yeah.
So you know that he can meet the moment, that he tends to really enjoy that. There's something really fun about young stars who do kind of meet the moment too. It's the same reason people talk about that Bryce Harper at bat, right? Where you're just like, oh,
it's
God.
my favorite at bat of all time.
Freddie Freeman, not a young star, but
actually, that's my favorite at bat of all time.
I was going to say, the Dodgers fan, I guess it's that one. But Juan Soto is one of the best young stars in the game. He is on a Hall of Fame trajectory, and it's not even particularly close. Like Hall of Fame. And he deserved this. I think I answered my own question looking back at those stats.
He deserves it. I think so.
Yeah.
Headline Rewrite.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Muad'Dib Timothy Chalamet was the only person on ESPN's College Game Day to pick Ohio to beat Miami in the MAC championship. What is the real headline?
Matt, can you just read it?
It is as the prophecy foretold. Lisan Al-Gaib, the voice of the outer world, the giver of water, the Duke of Arrakis, Stacy.
I wouldn't have read it the same way. I really wouldn't have delivered it with the same oomph that you did. How fun was this headline rewrite producing for you in terms of every headline rewrite you've ever done?
This is one of the best things I've ever done at this station, without a doubt.
Matt,
without a doubt.
Not a huge sports fan, huge fan of, I don't know, do I just say sci-fi?
Just being a nerd.
Being a nerd.
Being a nerd.
Huge nerd, Matt Nelson, just ran away with this headline rewrite, and I said, just run, Forrest.
You ever have too many drinks and someone's talking to you and you're just nodding your head and you don't know what the heck they're saying? That's what I felt during that headline rewrite. Like, yeah, it sounds cool, but I don't know what the heck you're talking about.
Have you ever had so many drinks that you didn't realize you had that many drinks until you went to the bathroom and it gets quiet and you look at the mirror and you're staring at yourself?
You be like, oh, it's time to go. It's time to go.
No, it's been years and years and years. I'm not a big drinker anyway, but I am a lightweight, and there have certainly been times when I've gone out, like early 20s, and you're thinking, this is a little too much for me. But you don't realize until you walk into that bathroom, all of a sudden the music dims down.
Yeah.
You start reaching for paper towels, knocking stuff over. You're making friends with people you don't know.
Man.
Hey, oh my God, I love your shirt. Where'd you get it? Where are you from? What are you like?
Yeah, that was me listening to Matt do his thing. But I appreciate the passion. That was some great production right there, man. That was good.
Fantastic work.
What's old boy's name? The actor?
Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet. If that's his real name, big ups to your parents. They knew you were going to be special.
He's French.
Is he? He don't sound French. Sounds American. But I'm listening to him make these picks, and he sounds good. But there's something called a producer who slides you notes. So when I do my pre-halftime, post-game show. I got my notes, a lot of notes, but then my producer just finds a different angle and sides me a note and says, hey, go ahead and spit that too. And then I'll give a fact or a note or something like that. That's essentially what he did. I think he did some of his own research. I think he likes football. I don't think you could, even if you're an actor, I don't think, maybe if you are an actor, you can do it. Maybe he has me just fooled because I believe.
Maybe we've been bamboozled.
I believe that he actually watches football.
You think he's watching Tuesday Night Maction?
Maybe. You know?
He got us fooled. He should be in politics.
Yeah, or maybe
Fool
like Matt said, it's about the prophecy. Maybe there's something bigger at play here.
The giver of water. The Alukta, what the heck, the words you were saying.
Can I hear the beginning? Can I hear the beginning of it one more time? It's just the production is so good.
Headline Rewrite.
Muad'Dib, Timothy Chalamet, was the only person on ESPN's College Game Day to pick
enough. All right, someone almost lost $3 million thanks to the Panthers this weekend. Plus, Giants fans have had it up to here with a horrible season, and they took steps to make that clear to team owner John Mara. That's all coming your way next.
Seattle Sports has your chance to win 4 tickets to the Seahawks Sunday night football game against the Green Bay Packers December 15th. 10-5 touchdown Seahawks! Head to the Seattle Sports app, click the Win tab in the bottom right corner, and enter for your chance to win.
Holy catfish!
You can enter once per day, so the more times you enter via the Seattle Sports app, the better your odds will be. Do it every day December 4th through December 9th. Details and rules at seattlesports.com/win.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids.
Hurry! It's your last chance to donate for 2024.
Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Television sales on Black Friday set new records as millions of Americans snapped up the hot deals. But a lot of people were out of town or too busy to take advantage of the special pricing. So, how about a redo? Right now, you've got a second chance to save big on many of the top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs. Where? At Video Only, where the smart shoppers go. So, don't miss out. Check out Video Only now, or
you'll be sorry.
Febreze.
So my home is also my office, and before I can focus, every room's gotta be clean. That means tidying up and spraying my Febreze Air Mist. Ooh, that's fresh. Febreze Air Mist scents are all high quality. They fight any weird funk, and they give my air an instant boost of freshness. So not only does my home smell good, I feel good too. After I Febreze, it's time to start my day.
Breathe happy, Febreze. La 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 la.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See capital.com for details.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. The best place to watch all your favorite sports. Featuring wall-to-wall viewing screens, 6 windows, and 30 kiosks. Be there at emeraldqueen.com. Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Chino gets rid of the football, low throw. It's dug out by Jansen. He brings it down. He's out across the 40.
The home of the Seahawks. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks came up with back-to-back interceptions in the first quarter of yesterday's win over the Cardinals, and it really set the tone for the victory. The first came via linebacker Ernest Jones, and the second was from safety Kobe Bryant. Mike McDonald explained why that was an extra savvy play by Bryant postgame.
We sailed their tail on that one. I mean, we had a coverage bust actually on that one, so having a post safety that can erase some things is a huge, you need those guys. So he's playing at a high level right now, and we're communicating really well, and really happy for Kobe because he's worked it extremely hard to prepare himself and really master what we're asking him to do. So he's doing a great job.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at assetroofingco.com. That's assetroofingco.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing excellence is on the house.
Planning to propose this holiday? Shane Company is ready to help you find your dream engagement ring. We handpick the most beautiful diamonds and colorful gemstones in all shapes and sizes. So when you walk in the door, you can trust your rock is in stock. At Shane Company, we've always sourced directly, cut out the middleman, and pass the savings on to you. We work with your budget, not against it. We'll also protect your ring for life with our free unmatched lifetime warranty. Come see us at shaneco.com and in-store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. J.P. Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Let's take a look around the NFL. We are going to start with Russell Wilson, who had a very Russell Wilson response to being asked about having a 2-game division lead in his post-game press conference.
It just means we're not done yet. You know, we gotta keep responding. You know, we're doing good things. You know, and we want to do great things. You know, so you know, we're looking forward to the opportunity of what's ahead of us. You know, and that's this week. Going to Philly is gonna be a great game, great matchup. Been to Philly a bunch. You know, right where you are, Sal. You know, so I think it'll be a great matchup. 2 great football teams, AFC and NFC, and we got to respond the right way.
This is white noise to me. It doesn't even annoy me. It doesn't make me think anything. You, universe, will not fool me. You will not trick me into rooting against Russell Wilson. I have now a vested interest in just being like, you go, Russ. Make it work.
I'm with that, man. As soon as he beat the Baltimore Ravens, I was like, okay, all right. Let's tune in. Let's see what's going on. And for all you people out in Pittsburgh, this is Russell. This is who he is. I think with the Broncos, he got a little extra with it.
Yeah.
But now he's back in his pocket. You know, when you try to sing songs, and you can't really sing, but you kind of know where you can kind of blend in with the song.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's where Russell is. He's blending in right now. Not too high, not too low.
That's so it.
He's in his pocket.
If I turn Adele up all the way in my car, it's crazy how we sound exactly the same.
Right.
Like, it's wild.
Exactly the same. Me and Usher the same way.
Right? Russ is kind of at that level of like, everyone has that friend where you go, well, that's just how they are. Like, I don't even even hear it anymore. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't trigger me. I don't think anything of it because I'm so used to hearing it that's just them.
Yep.
That's Russ. Russ could go through. Remember when he did the whole pregame walkthrough when he was out and he was pretending to be in the huddle?
Yeah.
He could do that all over again in Pittsburgh, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah. The first time he did it, I'm kind of like, hold up.
Right.
But
well,
now, I believe him. That is who he is.
Well, and what's changed now is he's an underdog. And so now you're kind of like, he's been humbled quite a bit. Let's talk about the Jets, who have also been humbled, but has Aaron Rodgers. Here he is being asked about the Jets' playoff drought.
The organization now, it's 14 straight years without making the playoffs. That's almost hard to do.
What's the question?
Well, can you reflect on that and why?
I mean, I've been here, I've started 1 year, so
Right.
I'm a part of it for 1 year. It's disappointing.
Now, here's the thing. Aaron Rodgers, typically not a very defensible person, but I also am like, what's he supposed to say to that? What do you have to say about the Jets missing the playoffs for 14 years? Hey, man, I've been playing for one.
I ain't a part of that history.
Yeah.
I'm a part of this history.
Sounds like a you problem.
I am a part of getting a GM fired and a head coach fired and moving guys around and all that stuff. But the truth is, yeah, he's only been there for one season. He's not going to take accountability for Mark Sanchez and Chad Pennington and whoever else was there
Rex
between.
Ryan is the final season.
Zach Wilson. Come on, man.
Yeah, now, is Aaron Rodgers the biggest reason the Jets didn't make the playoffs this year? Yes.
For sure. For sure.
Was it the biggest reason last year?
No, he played one game.
Yeah, he played one game, and the Jets kind of showed that they had some pretty serious, whether it was coaching, whether it was personnel, whatever it was. The Jets have more than just an Aaron Rodgers problem, even though he is the biggest reason this year. So.
Yeah, it's deeper.
You got to look within, Jets. Look within. Next up, tonight's Monday Night Football game will be the most. Is this cromulent NFL broadcast in history? Oh, God. Matt!
It'll be very cromulent, Stacey.
Bart will be signing with the Bengals, and Homer will fulfill his lifelong dream of being on the Dallas Cowboys. This game from Springfield Adams Stadium will surely embiggen the audience?
Embiggen.
Okay.
Yet another perfectly cromulent word.
Oh, God. It's a Simpsons broadcast for Monday Night Football, a.k.a. Fun Day Night Football. This one in Springfield. Yes, you're going to see many, 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 many Simpsons.
Talk about nostalgia. Just hearing the intro music takes me back to my childhood. How excited we used to be when the new episodes came on. And then remember the special episodes they had where you have to get like glasses for some or a special guest. Like it was a big thing growing up. And then the video game had the Bart Simpson video game.
I never played the
that
Bart
was
Simpsons
fire.
video game.
Yeah, I just went back to like 95 right now.
I will say I am much more in favor of a Simpsons broadcast, which you'll see for tonight's Bengals-Cowboys game, than I am for when they do like the Nickelodeon. But it's not for me. The Nickelodeon games are not for me. They are for tiny children. But this one's kind of for everyone. It's a little fun.
It kind of gets me when they go, slime. Oh, yeah. I'm just like... My kids watch it. They're like, can we watch the regular version?
Yeah, can we just step this one up a little bit? Yeah, this one I'm curious to see. So again, it's Bengals taking on the Cowboys tonight for Fun Day Night Football. It's a Simpsons-themed game. Next up, the New York Giants fans have had enough of losing even before they saw their team drop an 8th straight game. Gross. A plane flew over MetLife Stadium with a banner imploring ownership to get it together. That banner read, "Mr. Mara, enough. Please fix this dumpster fire."
Sad news, New York. It ain't gonna be fixed next year. Maybe not even the year after that. This is the NFL. You know how this thing goes. You got to get lucky. You got to find yourself a QB. You got to find some offensive linemen. They clearly don't know what they're doing when it comes to acquiring talent or keeping talent. It's a dumpster fire over there with the Giants for sure.
All right, last story here. We are going to talk about a very surprisingly close one between the Eagles, the heavily favored Eagles, over the Carolina Panthers. Now, you guys all know by now that the Eagles won this game, but it got really close. In fact, one of the largest bets ever reported by an NFL regular season game, in an NFL regular season game, which was $3.1 million, and it was on the Eagles. It was in jeopardy until the last minute Sunday. Why? Because Bryce Young and the Panthers were rolling. Bump, I thought they might get this done.
Me too. And I'm happy for Bryce Young. The Eagles, on the other hand, they were just dropped. They couldn't get the pass game going. A.J. Brown didn't get a target until well into the second quarter. But for Bryce Young, I'm excited, man, because they tried to kick him to the curb. They tried to say, you are not good enough to play in this league. And he's been showing some life as of late. So keep it rolling, man. He completed Well, he has a touchdown thrown in his past, 6 or 7 games, 4 interceptions. You just see the progress. It's almost like this is his rookie year. I'm going to wash the first year. This is his rookie year. But Philly, you don't want to play in close games like this so late into the season. You want to be rolling and dominating competition like this. You got the Steelers, Commanders, and Cowboys next. We know 2 of those are going to be tough for sure.
Now, the Eagles were heavily favored over the Panthers. So if you're wondering what a $3.1 million bet actually wins you, the answer, $442,000. 12s, it's time to get loud. The Seattle Seahawks are back home this weekend for Fan Appreciation Night. Today's the last day you can enter to win 4 tickets to watch them take on the Packers at Lumen Field Sunday, December 15th. All you need to do is open the Seattle Sports app and click the Win tab to find out how. If you don't already have the app, just text the word app to 866-979-3776, and we'll send you a link to download. Who gets your game ball from Week 14? We're going to open up phone lines at 1. Bump and I are answering next.
Seattle Sports, your home for Brock and Salk.
That was the best, most physical football game they've played all year.
Golly, I just love that game. I just want to go back and watch the TV copy of it again, not just the tape. And you could just feel it right away. Man, I honestly, I don't know if I've enjoyed a game more this season than that one that you had to have. You had to knock those guys out. You lead the division now. You give yourself some room between yourself and certainly them and even San Francisco.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hi, I'm Steve Almond from Pacific Power Batteries. In the past, I've suggested steering away from glitzy and non-essential Christmas presents like jewelry and things containing potpourri. At Pacific Power Batteries, we believe that just about everyone would appreciate a good booster pack under the tree, right? Yeah. So go ahead and make an enlightening statement with a snazzy new flashlight or headlamp for a present and put a little in the holidays with something from Pacific Power Batteries.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. I'm a 5th-generation Pacific Northwesterner, graduated from UW and Seattle U School of Law. At Warrior Injury Law, we have years of experience in the trenches, fighting insurance companies for the people of Washington, my people. Forward, if you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law. Battle tested.
Eddie's! Hey, Bob Stelton here, preparing for another stressful holiday season, and this year I am prioritizing my well-being. That's why I went to my local Johnson Fitness and Wellness store. Their equipment is made for more than just a workout. It's made for better sleep and mental breaks. And their massage chairs, not just for relaxation, they're made for recovery, stress relief, and lowering blood pressure. The experts at Johnson Fitness and Wellness are here to get you through the holidays with flexible financing, white glove delivery, and treadmills, bikes, and ellipticals up to 50% off. Check out johnsonfitness.com or one of the 3 Seattle locations today.
Ooma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
It's the holiday season and the perfect time to gift yourself with a new home for the new year. For a limited time, take advantage of incredible savings and incentives during D.R. Horton's It's Your Year savings event, going on now through December 22nd. Your perfect home for every holiday season is waiting for you. To find yours, visit any of our participating D.R. Horton communities or visit us at drhorton.com and discover the D.R. Horton difference. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
So here's the deal with Mariners season ticket memberships. You've got 2 great options. With a Flex membership, you have the freedom to pick your seats, games, and number of tickets whenever you want. Or, if you like knowing where you're sitting all season long, go with a reserved membership and lock in your seats from day one. Both plans get you access to exclusive pre-sales, year-round discounts, special event invites, and more. Check it out at mariners.com/25.
Now Raleigh wins it in the 10th inning for the Mariners.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gonna throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones. He's across the 20, tripped up and dropped.
The home of the Seahawks.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, if you're taking Viagra or any other pill for ED, I want you to ask yourself this question. Do I want to continue to do this for the rest of my life? If you're like most men, the answer is no. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we can restore blood flow naturally without pumping your body full of chemicals like you've been doing. Guys, you need to come in today and fix this problem now. Why are you putting this off? Viagra's not going to magically start working next week, and you don't want to use shots or go under the knife. Call us today and speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. Change your life today like the thousands of men who already have. If you're tired of dealing with ED or Peyronie's disease, then call West Coast Men's Health.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
You're free now. Free to fill your feed with impossibly chunky chunkers who chunk harder than you ever thought possible.
Cats, corgis, babies, baby penguins, baby pandas, chunky baby pandas.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things. Free to open a world of remote work and a portal into Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine, and then some. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Quantum Fiber, your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service in select locations only.
What's your holiday tradition? Now, if you're like me, it involves gathering around a big meal to celebrate. Well, what if there's no food on the table? Hey, it's G. Scott. This year, help someone less fortunate celebrate the holidays by supporting Nourishing Neighbors. The Nourishing Neighbors program provides grocery cards to the people who are the most impacted by food insecurity. So make a donation next time that you're at Safeway and help make sure everyone is welcome at the table for the holidays. Go to nourishingneighbors.com to learn more.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Opening up phone lines in less than 15 minutes. Your question is going to be the one we're discussing right now. Who gets your game ball? Who gets your game ball? I feel like Zach Charbonnet is probably going to be the most popular answer. And now just because someone calls in with it doesn't mean you go, oh, well, they had my answer, so I don't want to. Everyone has different reasons and everyone has different takes. Maybe you want to call in and say Zach Charbonnet because, oh, my God, look at his yardage. And maybe you want to call in and say, hey, I appreciate that he filled in for Ken Walker. Whatever. Bump. Who gets your game ball?
I want to say something else first.
Yes.
I want to respond to this funny text.
Oh, okay.
Someone said, dang it, Bump. I was taking a drink of Fresca when you guys said Rodgers was responsible for the season. I'm done coughing and the Fresca isn't coming out my nose. You can't blame it all on him. I can and I will. I can and I will. Because he was supposed to save the franchise.
Yeah.
He came over. Hackett has a job because of him. Saleh doesn't have a job because of him. The GM is gone. He was supposed to be the savior. You got two number one receivers. You bring your boy over. The defense is good up at stopping the pass and the run. I blame him.
Well, and to be fair, my question for Bump was, what is the biggest problem or the biggest contributor to the Jets not missing?
He can come back next year and fix it all, though.
Sure.
We shall see.
I mean, I still had that feeling going in to face Rodgers when the Seahawks did in Week 13.
He still pumps some fear in you.
Yeah.
Still pumps that fear in you.
No, I mean, he didn't end up. Yeah, it was a horrible game for him.
Yeah.
Especially in the second half. But.
All right, so here's my game ball.
Yes.
It goes to Ryan Grubb.
Okay.
It goes to Ryan Grubb because he wasn't afraid to be stubborn. Sometimes when things work as a play caller, you're like, okay, now I'm just going to save that play for later because, we don't want to run it too much. Man, Grubb was like, forget that. Hey, guard, tackle, pull, run it. Guard, tackle, pull, run it. And he kept doing it. He ran it at least 7-8 times. And I can appreciate that about him. I also liked some of the mix-up that he had when he was down in the 5-yard line. You're moving guys around, and you're shifting. You're doing all that, and you hand the ball off to Zach Charbonnet. I feel like he's starting to understand who his team is and what they do best. He's highlighting JSN in the pass game. When the season started, it was about DK, and it should have been about DK because he was the guy with the stats to back it up. But now he's shifting and he's saying, well, Jason might be the more productive and elusive receiver, so let's get him going. So Ryan Grubb is understanding what type of game needed to be called to win the game. It's why he gets my game ball.
I went very related, but closer to the field, literally on the field. My game ball goes to the offensive line. I think that the best answer or the most obvious is Zach Charbonnet. And if that's your answer, I still want you to call in and tell me what you think. And in fact, if 10 people all say Zach Charbonnet, well, then it lets us know that that's who we should always be talking about after this one. But I have panned the offensive line a ton, and I have lamented that the offensive line has just not been a strength for Seattle for 10 plus years. When they do something well, I can't be and good on Zach Charbonnet and only Zach. This offensive line made stuff happen in this game. They didn't allow a sack. They were getting downfield. You talked about some of those gap blocking schemes. It was one of the better games I've seen. And if they can get a fraction of this momentum going in this really tough part of the schedule, win and you're in. Not only win and you're in the playoffs, win and you're hosting a playoff game. That's major.
It is major. It's a major key, as DJ Khaled would say.
Major key.
And the offensive line is the most important, other than a quarterback, is the most important part of an offense. The 5 guys on the line who can trust each other, who are going to have a good relationship when you're pulling guards and tackles, who are going to handle stunts when the 3-tech disappears and all of a sudden there's a linebacker right there and you're passing it off to your guard or to your center. There's a chemistry that needs to happen for an offensive line to be consistent. And for 2 games, I think they've been consistent. I need to see 2 more to really buy in, but it's nice that they're giving you something to believe in, because there's a while where we felt like had to be a hero every single game for them to have a chance. He doesn't have to be a hero. If they can protect and he can play the game that he played last week with the run sprinkled in there in the defense, it's a complete team. That is why the Chiefs are winning ball games. Not because Pat Mahomes is playing great, because he's doing enough to win, the offensive line is doing enough to protect, and that defense is keeping them in the ball game.
Well, and how many times have we talked about the Lions this year as kind of a model of who you want to be as a franchise, of the culture that you want to build? Do the Lions have the best defense in football? No. Do they have the best running back in football? No. The best wide receiver? No. The best quarterback? No. The best head coach? Some people would argue it, but I think there are people who would say no. And yet it's all working because they're so good and so complete and so complementary.
Yeah. It's you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
Yeah. Ron and Puyallup said, so you think the O-line is fixed? No, I don't. But I think that there is a tip of the cap that you give them against an Arizona defense that had not allowed a 100-yard rusher since week 4 and hadn't allowed 100 rushing yards in a game since week 8. I think that we look at Arizona's record and you go, 500 team. Arizona's played tough this year, and that defense has taken massive steps forward since the beginning of the season. So that was still an effort by the offensive line.
You have to give pats on the back when they're deserved.
Yeah.
There are some times where my son didn't play his best game, but he worked on some stuff that I saw him working on. I go, yep, it showed up. Pat on the back. Good job. There are times where he plays excellent. It's against a weaker team. Pat on the back. You did what you're supposed to do against that team. You got to go out there and dominate. He played a good game this weekend, man. I'm so proud of that dude. He sent me a bunch of clips of his game. I couldn't be there. But, it's – you can't be stingy with the love sometimes, because when they aren't playing well, when they're not producing – we're on them, and y'all expect us to be on them. Yeah, definitely not stingy with the hate or the criticism. Yeah. So why be stingy with the loves? You keep it in perspective. You still want to see more. You got to give enough love that is encouraging, but also keeps individuals and teams motivated.
All right, who gets your game ball? 866-979-3776. 866-979-3776. I think I'm curious also, when you guys call in for who gets your game ball, I'm curious as to whether you guys are like believing in the Seahawks as a playoff team. I almost had that as our caller question, and I thought, I don't want like a yes or no question. Game balls are more fun. But if you're willing to share whether or not you're bought in and you're seeing them as like, no, I'm buying in.
Do that.
Then we also want to hear that. So 866-979, who gets your game ball? 866-979-3776. That is coming your way next.
This is Seattle Sports.
Throw far side, intercepted again. Kobe Bryant this time.
I'll tell the guys, man, it's one of the closest teams I've ever been on. Everybody pulling in the right direction. Everyone pulling together.
Line's going to throw it in the near side corner. JSN has the touchdown. Seahawks
We feel good right now. We want to first prove ourselves right and prove everybody else wrong. We're hungry. Our unit's just coming closer as a brotherhood, as a friendship, but we're also out there just playing relentless.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
What would motivate you to encourage your kid to work with me at Lee Johnson?
I still revert back to, if I work at a location and I'm willing to have my son work at this location, that should tell you a great deal. I didn't steer my son away, I steered my son to it. Because of the opportunities that are in front, and when you see it across multiple rooftops in multiple locations, it says a lot that you're willing to entrust your family member, your blood, sweat, and tears. You're willing to say, hey, this is a great place for them to be and work. If you take care of people, they take care of customers.
Sharing a good thing with family and friends comes easy at the Lee Johnson Auto family. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Storms can be overwhelming, but you're not alone. We're here 24/7 to secure your home and give you peace of mind. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. From your roof to your siding, windows, and deck, we'll handle it with care and get your home back to better, quickly and safely. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today. We're here for you when it matters most. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
Hey, do you like spending extra money? Who doesn't, right? No, nobody does, and especially when it's on something like your utility bills, right? If those are noticeably higher in the winter or your home feels drafty, it could be because your attic and crawl space aren't properly insulated. It's Mike Salk here, and utility companies have special incentives to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you may qualify to receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. Yeah, they'll cover up to 95% of the cost. So don't wait. Take advantage of an incredible rebate today. Call Crawl Pros and learn what's going on behind that crawl space and attic hatch for free, and also what energy rebates you're eligible for. These guys are great. Did an awesome job at my house. So if you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, schedule a free corner-to-corner inspection at crawlpros.com.
What is that sound? Ugh, that sounds like a plumbing sound. Luckily, there's a company that fixes all the plumbing sounds across Puget Sound. That's All Sound Plumbing. Puget Sound's plumbing experts. Have a sound? Visit allsoundplumbing.com.
Contractors, equipment operators, and auto enthusiasts, do not miss this opportunity. The James G. Murphy Company proudly presents the Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction from December 5th through December 12th. Bid on over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, hundreds of cars, pickups, and SUVs, plus a massive assortment of tools, lumber, and equipment. Featured items include a 2012 Komatsu PC360 LC excavator, a 2019 John Deere 135G excavator, a 2021 Sany telescopic forklift, 5 Vector trucks like the 2016 Kenworth T880, and a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S convertible. In-person previews take place December the 9th, 10th, and 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Register now and start bidding at murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Seattle Sports.
Has a first down and then some. Touchdown! Seahawks, 49 yards to Pater.
710 KIRO AM Seattle and KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma, the home of the Seahawks. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The biggest free agent question of MLB's offseason is settled. ESPN's Jeff Passan says outfielder Juan Soto and the New York Mets are in agreement on a 15-year, $765 million contract, the largest deal in professional sports history. Unlike Shohei Ohtani's deal, Soto's includes no deferred money and has escalators that can inflate the contract's value to $800 million.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Congratulations, fans. You get to give a game ball out to someone on the Seahawks. Not in real life. I'm sorry, just on the phone right now. 866-979-3776. Call right now. Who gets your game ball for the Seattle Seahawks?
The game ball is kind of fake, too, though. Because they give out game balls. And whole line gets a game ball. Quarterback gets a game ball. It's like, were those really used in the game, or were they just on the sideline chilling? You know?
Like, what do you mean it's fake? like it's not like really respected, or oh no, you mean they're literally not game balls?
They're not really getting. I'm sure someone gets a game ball, but there's like 30 balls out there.
I would like to know how many footballs do you think they actually use in an NFL game? Like, do they try to keep it to
like
the
5
same
or
one
6.
as often? I was gonna say
like 5 or 6.
So do they bring the bin of used footballs to the winning team? Like, give out what you want.
Man, they give out the extra 30 on the sideline they don't use.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, all right, well, where'd this game ball come from? Well, either way, whether it's a real game ball or maybe just a football they happen to have, you are giving this to someone. 866-979-3776. You can be as creative as you want with your answer. So maybe your answer is Zach Charbonnet. Maybe it's the whole dang offensive line. Maybe you've got someone else in mind. And the point of your answer is to tell us who you think deserves a bit of credit for where the Seahawks are right now, which, need I remind you, first place in the NFC West. Who gets your game ball? 866-979-3776. Let's go to Kyle. Kyle, who gets your game ball?
Ever since I was a young kid, offense wins you games, but defense wins you championships. I'm going with Leonard Williams.
There you go.
That guy just takes so many offensive guards and off the ball that other people are able to make plays. So I really think that his presence up front, creating a distraction, even getting to the quarterback and the running backs himself. So let's go defense, man. I'm having an LOB flashbacks, thankfully.
Thanks, Kyle, for the call. Kyle says Leonard Williams gets my game ball because ultimately the improvement of this defense is what I'm guessing is making Kyle hopeful they can go on and really do some damage in the playoffs. What'd you make of Leo's day? He had been kind of having these monumental games.
That's the funny part about Leo is because we do our game MVP, then our unsung hero at the end of the show. And the game MVP obviously went to Zach Charbonnet. Unsung hero went to Leonard Williams. My man had 7 tackles, 2 TFLs, and a pass defended. And because he didn't take a pick to the house or have 2 or 3 sacks, it felt like it was underwhelming. But no, it was he had a good game. He had a very efficient game. I think I like that he got some love because he set the bar so dang high for himself that people sleep on him.
At this point, it was a little too late for Arizona to get back in it. But an example, 1st and 10, tipped that ball. I think that was his pass defended. Tipped a pass from Kyler Murray. No one really pays attention. It's the final drive. Arizona's multiple scores back. Who really cares? But that kind of play, imagine Arizona's going to tie it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That play always matters. To have someone that can do that always matters. 866-979-3776. Who gets your game ball? Let's go to Nelson and Kent. Nelson, I wonder who gets your game ball. Who is it?
Yeah, it might actually be a surprise today.
No, you watch like the little Seahawks Instagram videos after the game, and you see Mike McDonald. He's handing out sometimes 2 or 3 game balls. So there's a lot of worthy, units here, players here that deserve it, and I'll let the other people handle that. I'm going to give it to Gino, of course, because this is a guy who it has really divided our fan base. Not any of his own doing, but there's quite a bit of fans that either don't like him or don't think he's the answer. And Gino hears that. He's tweeted about things like that before that have alluded to it. So it's on his mind. He feels that pressure. And the last 2 games in massive games, no turnovers. And that is a credit to the O-line, but that is also a credit to Gino. Like, I'm watching Gino yesterday. You're seeing some of those behind the QB camera views. There's stuff downfield. And in the past, Gino, maybe he pushes some of those throws, but instead scanning the field, and credit to the line for giving him time to allow to go to the checkdowns, but he takes the check down, whether it's to Charbonnet or Barner or JSN, and sometimes getting 8 to 12 yards, and he's just shredding the defense that way. I mean, the guy missed one throw to Noah Fant. That was really it. Maybe that one on the first drive in the end zone. But, the game started pretty rough defense. I was like, oh, boy, is this going to go bad? Is the old defense going to show up? Because that's, when it's only been happening for 4 or 5 games, you start to get those feelings again. And Gino, right off the bat, took the offense down on a nice long drive to give the defense a rest. Then the defense gets some nice turnovers.
So Gino gets your game ball.
Yeah, he's just playing elite football.
All
And
right.
Ben Solak had a tweet. Can I just say one thing?
You can.
He had a tweet today. No player has more true dropbacks, so play action and screen passes don't count, than Gino does this season. On such snaps, he's 4th in completion percentage, 1st in on-target rate, and 5th in success rate, despite an above-average pressure rate of 35.5%. So Gino is just dealing it.
It's
And I
impressive
cannot,
stuff, man.
after that game,
All right,
last
Nelson,
night's game, I'm like, I can't wait.
I will
for
give
the
you 5
Packers game.
seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds.
Yep.
I can't wait for the Packers game.
Thanks for the call, Nelson. I can't wait for that game either. I'm real nervous for Packers-Vikings, though. Let me tell you what.
It's going to be a true test. I mean, every game is a test, but this one, you're playing against it. When's the last time you beat a team that had like some real oomph to them? I mean, the last time we played a team like that was probably the Bills, and they smacked us.
Yeah.
And you got the Rams who you lost to, and you go on a little run.
Lost to the
But it's
Lions.
like you're beating up on the middle class. Now you're going to the country club golf course. Can you play on those courses with those greens and those tight fairways and trees everywhere? You're at Walter E. Hall where you can spray the ball anywhere. Now let's go to Sahaly and see what you can do. I know that makes complete sense to you, Stacey.
Yeah, and so I'm nodding because I just support. I'm a good teammate. I go, right. Yes. Let's go to Marty calling from Bremerton. Marty, who gets your game ball?
How you doing? I'm going to switch it up a little bit, but after listening to that last caller praising Gino so much, Gino did his job. He's not the long-term answer. But anyway, I'm going to switch it up and go Mike McDonald. A few weeks ago, I was ready to hang that guy by his. But anyway, and he's made some tough calls. His defense is playing good. And here we are 3-4 weeks later, and everyone's praising him. But anyway, I give the game ball to the coaching staff. Mike McDonald ahead. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the call, Marty. And credit to Marty for being willing to admit, you know what? I was not happy with this dude a while ago, but game ball to the coaching
You're
staff.
rubbing
and
off
Mike
on
McDonald.
people because you
I'm
had
humble.
to check yourself
I'm
with
really humble.
with Zach Charbonnet. See, you're being a leader.
I'm the most humble person and the best leader that I know.
The people who are getting at Mike McDonald just made me laugh. I'm like, what do you expect? You really expect him to come in and for this team to go undefeated, to look just stellar, to not have to go through some growing pains, to teach them what you want, to make some moves, and to get them to execute. That is just not how things happen. Unless you are at a school where you have NIL money for days, you're not just going to be able to put a team together and say, all right, let's make this thing go.
Yep.
There's a growing process that has to happen, and I think that's what we're seeing. It's still not over yet, though. Still some things that need to be done, but that's what we're seeing.
Mike in Seattle. Mike, who gets your game ball?
Hey, first-time caller, Stacy, I just love you. I love your analysis. I love the way you approach the whole game preparation, and that's why I listen to this station.
Oh, thanks, Mike. You can keep talking for the rest of the day.
Charbonnet. Listen, this guy solved a deficit in this offense, which is our running game. Walker went down. He had to step up. How many yards does he get? Over 130 total yards, something other than 200. Come on, that is like the offensive jolt that we needed to get the season, back to where it should be. Zach Charbonnet. I used to think his name was Chardonnay, but it's exactly with a B. So, at any rate, Stacy, keep doing the great work. I love listening to you.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Bump, Zach Charbonnet, I am shocked that it took us 4 callers to get to Zach. I think people were like, hey, I don't want to say the answer, but ultimately, I think it's kind of the number one answer.
I like that. I like that it took that long.
Yeah.
I think it should be Zach Charbonnet, but I also think people understand that it is a team sport, that without that offensive line, Charbonnet ain't going nowhere. Without Ryan Grubb calling the plays, Charbonnet doesn't have a chance to do his thing. Without Mike McDonald kind of making tough decisions and applying some pressure, this thing doesn't work. Football's ultimate team sport for a reason, but there's always someone who shines, and it's typically the one who has the football in his hand.
I would encourage anyone to feel free to compliment me some more as you join our program. Let's go to Matt in Tacoma. Matt, who gets your game ball?
Bump and Stacy, Batman and Robin of Sports Radio. I'm going to let you decide which one is which, though.
I'm Batman.
Let me tell you, though, it's the game ball's got to go to the offensive line. Look, Gino dropped back 30 times. He was pressured 5 times, 0 sacks. Zach Charbonnet's running like he's trying to be president. And LeMaya,
that's a bar.
Everybody was worried about LeMaya, but, I mean, he was out there just balling. So definitely the offensive line.
Thanks, Matt. Matt looking at that offensive line. Again, that stat from Brady Henderson, the offensive line allowed just 5 pressures of Geno Smith. 5 of 30, 17%, which is his lowest pressure rate faced as a member of the Seahawks. Not just this year, with the Seahawks.
Matt hit us with a bar, too. He said Zach Charbonnet was running like he was running for president. I like that, Matt. Yeah, bars. Zach Charbonnet and the O-line are connected. Geno was 80% completion rate, the highest of the year. Why? He was patient. He took the checkdowns. He didn't force anything. Also, he had time in the pocket. That shows up when it comes to the QB pressure numbers that you talked about from Brady Henderson. The line makes everything work. You give Geno time, he shines. O-line. Bars.
Who gets your game ball? 866-979-3776. 866-979-3776. You know it was a good game when people have many different answers. We've heard Geno, we've heard Zach, we've heard the offensive line, we've heard coaching, we've heard Leonard Williams. Lots of good answers so far. Let's go to Kevin in Cali. Kevin, who gets your game ball?
What up? Dumping Stinky, good to see you. Hey, I really want to give a call out to 2 people. First of all, the O-line, Scott Huff, coach, just has done a terrific job keeping these guys together and focused the last couple weeks. And, just sticking to it through all the naysayers and as Mike kind of stole my thunder. But creating a line that didn't let Geno get touched this week, no sacks, and providing a line that just had almost 200 yards rushing, 176 yards rushing, excuse me, and then another call out to the rookie Sataoa Lamea, just doing a splendid job. I wrote earlier about the pin and pull concept, and watching the game last night on the highlights and rewatching it at home, just seeing him out there leading the charge with Lucas, breaking some long runs, just brought joy to my heart. So I want to give a game ball to those 2.
All right, Kevin and Callie going, hey, I'm looking at the rookie who no one expected to be here, and he played a pretty solid game. And also you got to give it to offensive line coach Scott Huff, who actually got a game ball after this one, by the way, from Mike McDonald.
Big ups Huff. That's another one y'all was going after, too, was Huff. Imagine if, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, right? Imagine if you got at least 4 out of the 5 guys on your line for the future right now. Because Lincoln, he's just older. He's been in the league for a long time. Who knows how long Lincoln Tomlinson is going to play at the guard spot. But Oluwatimi is, a second-year guy. You got Laume as a first-year guy. Your tackles are third-year guys. If Lincoln can hang around and improve, or they go and get themselves another guard, a young guy, you could find your 5 guys for the future. Still got to play more ball. Still have to prove it. But it's exciting to think of the possibilities if this can continue, this type of play.
I absolutely agree. 866-979-3776. Who gets your game ball? Who gets your game ball? 866-979-3776. Call right now. I got a couple open lines. Someone texted in, though. Can we give Kyler Murray a game ball for being Kyler Murray?
Man, pouty McPoutface.
That body language.
It's so bad, man.
It's not good. I have flashbacks to that playoff loss to San Francisco where I just think, man, you got to change the way. It's not fair, but you need to change it.
If he were my kid, he'd be on punishment constantly. Bruh,
No
change
Call of Duty
your
for
body
you.
language.
I'll tell you the call you need to answer to be a leader. Okay, 866-979-3776. Call now. Let's go to Brian in Federal Way. Brian, who gets your game ball?
Well, a little bit of my thunder was stolen, but I'm going to triple down here on the offensive line. Lamea, for really solidifying his spot at the right guard position. And we've seen the past 2 games, the running game is slowly sputtering to life and obviously burst to life in this last game against the Cardinals. I could throw Olu in there as well, but I really wanted to focus on the rookie there at right guard. And just, the fact that he came in and provided some continuity over 2 games and the O-line has responded and the running game is coming to life just showed with our ability to hold on to the ball late in that game and possess the ball, keep it away from Arizona, not giving them a chance to even come back in that game. It's just, that's Seahawks football to me. And, so my game ball goes to Lamea.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Bump, before I ask you a question, I do want to let listeners know that while he hung up, there was another Brian who was going to say Sautoa Laumea.
Really?
Yeah, so I know Brian was like, hey, Mike stole a little bit of my thunder here. But we had 3 Laumea answers in a row, 2 of them from back-to-back Brians. Why Laumea over Christian Haynes? What do you think he showed coaches?
I think the one thing I heard about Christian Haynes was that physically he just wasn't or isn't mature yet. He's still growing. You don't stop growing until 24, 25, something like that.
I stopped growing in 7th grade.
Physically, not mentally. So there's time for him to grow. And people expect a lot of these athletes just to be finished products once they get into NFL. Yeah. It don't work like that for some people. A guy like Laumea has the physical on his side. He's a big human being. I bet you there's still things mentally that he's trying to figure out. So everyone has their own type of journey. But the thing that saves you in this league is if you are bigger, faster, stronger, then they'll deal with some mental mistakes. If physically you're not there yet, you can't not physically be there and then mentally make some mistakes. So maybe that's what's going on with Christian Haynes. Obviously, I'm not in the locker room. I don't talk to the coaches like that. Just stuff I'm hearing.
A question from a listener before I get to a few more callers here. How much of the offensive line success can you attribute to it being Abe Lucas's 2nd week back? So maybe him kind of getting back into the grind, back into the flow of things.
This is his 3rd week.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because he went Niners, Jets, Cardinals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It definitely helps. There's a communication that happens. Obviously, he's him and Laumea are on the same side, chopping it up and make sure they're on the same page. Yeah, it can do nothing but help.
All right, 866-979-3776. Who gets your game ball? Call now. Let's go to Daniel calling from Renton. Daniel, who gets your game ball?
I got to go with Ryan Grubb. I know Bump's seen some of my texts on Sunday evenings or Sunday during the game being real angry about what they're calling for K9. And he took his running back. He knew what he was capable of, and he called plays that got him 140 yards almost. So I got to give it to him.
What did you see from Grubb in this one?
I saw Grubb get information from play calling, and I would assume from communication with his offensive linemen and coaches, and use it to his advantage.
Yeah.
Of course, Grubb is watching film and is the leader when it comes to devising a plan every week to attack an offense. So he should get most of the love. He's an offensive coordinator. He's not an assistant to the offensive coordinator. Also saw some balance. If you just look at sheer numbers, this doesn't necessarily mean that it's balanced all the time, but there's 31 run plays and 30 pass plays. That's balance at its purest form. So I think that, and also his communication with Geno had to have been on point, because Geno was not forcing the ball down the field. How many times did he throw it to Zach Charbonnet in the flat?
That Barner play,
tight end in the flat, Barner in the flat. I mean, he just took what the defense is giving him. So when you have a quarterback who's playing the way that he's playing, there's several things that come into factor. Obviously, the offensive line is protecting you, receivers are doing their thing, but there's a clear understanding of what he needs to do to execute to win this game, and that starts with the man upstairs, Ryan Grubb.
Let's go to Vic in Seattle. Vic, who gets your game ball?
Well, for me, it's John Snyder, because, correct me if I'm wrong, but he supported Mike McDonald with all of these players that he brought in to help with his system. And I don't recall that being that much turnover since he first came in with Pete Carroll. And they seem to bring in every undrafted free agent and other free agents and whoever else that they needed to fit the system. So John gets my game ball.
I like it, Vic, mostly because Bump and I, we started our conversation for the entire show talking about how these decisions have paid off. And these are all kinds of decisions Snyder's making, decisions that McDonald's making, decisions that sometimes we overlook, like the changes that they made on special teams and how that paid off. And so many of these decisions are tough ones to make because it makes you swallow your pride. You got to be a little humble. You got to admit a mistake. You got to make a change of direction. And you have to have a level of belief. You had to have a level of faith that Tyrese Knight could come in as a rookie and be your starter. Like, you had to have a level of faith that Laumea would come in as a rookie and deliver for you. And those are pretty impressive decisions.
It's you had faith, and then you had that risk taker. You know, I have a buddy, every time we go to Vegas, he'll take like half of his money that he show up to Vegas with and just put it on black at the roulette table.
That's terrifying.
And it scares the heck out of me. And I've seen him hit like 7 out of 10 times. And that's kind of the position you were in. You're looking at the linebackers and you're not getting what you need out of it. And this is your last ditch effort. What can we do to save this team, save this defense? Let's go get Ernest. Let's start a rookie, and then let's throw a rookie on that offensive line. They went to Vegas and gambled, and it seems like it's working out so far. And the most important part is that this is a move for the future as well. The short term is get through the season, hopefully make the playoffs, win the division. All that is good. But what real GMs and head coaches want to do is be good for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
So hopefully they found the guys to help do that.
Well, and sometimes it's a decision that you don't end up making, right? This is a team that said, we don't care if, people are upset with Ryan Grubb that the run game isn't getting going. He's our guy. We're going to let him keep trying this thing and trying different approaches and seeing what works. It would have been completely rash to move on from Grubb, but there are weaker organizations that feel that pressure a little more. And this is an organization, a coaching staff, and a front office that clearly said, we know who we want to be.
Yeah.
We're not there now. Let's talk about what we do and don't need to do to get there. And so far, the things they did have worked out.
It's worked out. It looks like it so far, and you got to continue to coach them up. I mean, we're celebrating and highlighting a lot of these guys as we should, because you get a W and you have some good performances. But now it's, how do you build off of that? You can never be satisfied. I know Zach Charbonnet pat himself on the back, all the homies texting him and calling him up. Now he has to figure out, how do I stay on the football field? How do I compete with K9 and we become a vicious 1-2 combo? If Laumea, how do I stay on the football field?
Yep.
How do I improve on some of the pass protections that I messed up? That's the journey now, because you're going to play the best competitions you've played in the last month.
The Holiday Magic online auction is now live. Join Seattle Sports, KIRO News Radio, and Treehouse for the 36th year of Holiday Magic. You can start bidding on incredible one-of-a-kind packages, like the thrill of a Seahawks versus Vikings game on December 22nd with 2 club-level tickets, plus pregame field passes, giving you the best seats in the house. This package is perfect for any Seahawks fan looking to create unforgettable memories. The auction runs through December 11th, so don't miss out. Your participation helps provide holiday gifts and year-round support for children and youth in foster care across the state. Visit mynorthwest.com/holidaymagic to learn more and start bidding today. Coming up next, it's 4 Down territory.
This is Seattle Sports.
For Kyler Murray's going to throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones. He's across the 20, tripped up and dropped at the 19-yard line.
As soon as I turned around to look for the ball, it was there, and I'm like, there's no way.
Gino gets rid of the football. Low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40. Tackle down, first down.
Great team win for us. Man, just the mentality that we're in right now, coming down the home stretch, December football. Thought the guys were ready to play.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus here to talk to you about Contour Fits. Those are my guys, man. They're locally owned and operated, serving the Puget Sound area since 1984. 40 years of doing this. They specialize in residential and commercial fencing solutions as well as fence repairs. There's nothing like pulling up to your house and having a beautiful fence out there. If you need repairs, if there are panels missing, they got you. You can schedule a free consultation directly at their website. If you go to the website, use HAWKS10. That code will get you 10% off any repair or replacement. I got athletes. They're kicking soccer balls on the fence, throwing tennis balls on the fence. I needed some help. They helped me out. There's 2 ways you can contact them. Like I mentioned, go to their website, contourfence.com, or you can call them, 425-481-7128. The website is easy to navigate. If you talk to somebody, they're easy to talk to. They will take care of you. Hit them up, contourfence.com.
'Tis the season to be bold.
Gino's going to throw right down the seam. Touchdown, Seahawks! JSN with the touchdown.
To rep your team.
The stands are rocking right now.
Your style, your way. This is the Pro Shop. Shop official Seahawks gear now at Seahawks.com/Pro Shop.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Contractors, equipment operators, and auto enthusiasts, do not miss this opportunity. The James G. Murphy Company proudly presents the Marysville Heavy Equipment, Contractors Equipment, and Vehicles online auction from December 5th through December 12th. Bid on over 80 pieces of heavy equipment, hundreds of cars, pickups, and SUVs, plus a massive assortment of tools, lumber, and equipment. Featured items include a 2012 Komatsu PC360 LC excavator, a 2019 John Deere 135G excavator, a 2021 Sany telescopic forklift, 5 Vector trucks like the 2016 Kenworth T880, and a 2014 Porsche 911 Carrera 4S convertible. In-person previews take place December the 9th, 10th, and 11th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at 3803 136th Street Northeast in Marysville. Register now and start bidding at murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gino has time. He's going to throw the near side corner. JSN has the touchdown! Seahawks!
The home of the Seahawks. Seahawks Insider, brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. Now here's Maura Dooley.
The Seahawks had their best rushing game of the season with 176 total yards in Arizona yesterday, and they did not allow a single sack. Mike McDonald talked post-game about everything really coming together for this offensive line and how it helped Geno Smith.
Probably their best game to date, but Geno deserves a lot of credit too. I mean, he's playing really decisive. really accurate. There's a lot of big-time throws going on out there, especially in critical moments at the end of the game. Maybe it's multiple score game, but that can change in a blink of an eye. And so to try to keep moving the sticks on some of those second down throws where it kept drives going, that was big time. And then being able to manage the clock and all the situations, he's doing a tremendous job right now.
The Seahawks Insider is brought to you by Pacific Lamp and Supply. For the latest on the Seahawks anytime, go to seattlesports.com.
This holiday season, give the gift of Mariners baseball. Why settle for a pair of socks when you can grab a pair of tickets to see the Red Sox? A gift card? Skip it. And snag seats to see the Cardinals. A wine opener? Or how about an opening day trip to T-Mobile Park? For tickets and our complete schedule of marquee matchups, including the Yankees and Dodgers, plus can't miss collectibles, fireworks nights, $10 value seats, and more, visit Mariners.com.
A walk-off grand slam for Cal Raleigh.
It's Fight Night, live boxing at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. A full evening of boxing action, Friday, January 10th. Make it a destination event. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this evening of pure excitement. The best in professional boxing. It's Fight Night, January 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Please game responsibly.
Television sales on Black Friday set new records as millions of Americans snapped up the hot deals. But a lot of people were out of town or too busy to take advantage of the special pricing. So, how about a redo? Right now, you've got a second chance to save big on many of the top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs. Where? At Video Only, where the smart shoppers go. So, don't miss out. Check out Video Only now, or
you'll be sorry.
Hey, Bob Stelton here, preparing for another stressful holiday season, and this year I am prioritizing my well-being. That's why I went to my local Johnson Fitness and Wellness store. Their equipment is made for more than just a workout. It's made for better sleep and mental breaks. And their massage chairs, not just for relaxation, they're made for recovery, stress relief, and lowering blood pressure. The experts at Johnson Fitness and Wellness are here to get you through the holidays with flexible financing, white glove delivery, and treadmills, bikes, and ellipticals up to 50% off. Check out johnsonfitness.com or one of the 3 Seattle locations today.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game. What former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, Bump. Why are you both proud of and worried for Sam Darnold?
Sam Darnold. We talk about him like he's 35 years old, getting his first shot in the league. He's 27. 27, and he's getting like his 3rd or 4th shot. And last week, or this past weekend, he was 22 or 28, 5 touchdowns against Atlanta. He has 4 games with multiple touchdowns and no interceptions. That's why I'm proud of him, because he is in a situation where he has weapons, 2 receivers, a running back, a good tight end, Hawkinson over there. He's good to go. But I'm worried because I don't think the Vikings will or should pay him to be there long term. You got J.J. McCarthy. He's waiting. He tore his ACL. Was ACL or MCL? I think it was MCL. MCL, yeah. MCL during training camp. But you drafted him for a reason. Sam Darnold was just the backup. I'm looking across the league, and there's not too many places he can go. Will you be the bridge guy for the Giants? Will the Steelers roll with Russell Wilson? Probably. Are you going to run it back with the Jets? We'll see if Aaron Rodgers comes back. And then a texter pointed out, maybe the Titans. Wherever he goes, it has to be a system similar to the one that he's in now, because it is clearly working. He's made himself some money, but I'm afraid that he'll put himself in a garbage situation and with no talent around him, and then we're going to see some of the same stuff that we saw when he was with the Jets, and wasn't he with the Panthers for a little bit? And
Am I blanking, or were the Broncos
Niners.
One of those teams?
No, Broncos,
Niners,
I don't think.
okay.
And the Niners. So I'm happy for him, but I'm worried, man. He's got to get in a good situation, but either way, he made himself some money, so he'll be able to sleep at night.
I was thinking of Zach Wilson. Yet
Yeah.
another failed Jets quarterback.
Failed.
Second down. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the league's 5th leading wide receiver with 911 yards. But what's more impressive than his total yardage and shows Geno probably trusts him the most out of all the weapons he has in wide receivers?
JSN is 5th in the game with 911 yards, 5 touchdowns. Both of those are career highs. He catches 73% of the footballs thrown to him. But as of late, the last 4 games, he catches 92% of the footballs thrown his way. He is reliable. He has 20 receptions on third downs, 16 of those for first down. That is 5th best in the NFL. He is just efficient. When a quarterback can draw back on 4th down, you adjust your route, you're going across the field, you snap it back to the left, he drops a dime over the top and you catch it, he's going to throw you the football more. When you get the football off a turnover and one route, you run a corner, boom, he drops a dime and you catch it, he's going to trust you. That's all it is. With every quarterback I played with, that quarterback was my best friend. I made an effort. We are going to be buddies. I don't care where you're from, who you are, what you did, as long as you love me. Where's that from?
I don't care who you are, who you are.
Exactly. You got to get in good with your quarterback, and JSN is doing that. He's emerging. He's the number 1 receiver on this team right now. I think DK is still a threat, and I think that can still be a good combo. You sprinkle in Tyler Lockett, but there's a reason why he's getting the bulk of the targets, because he's where he's supposed to be. He makes a tough catch. What was that, 3rd and 15, where he had the fingertip catch that was close to the ground? He just makes the tough catch, and a quarterback will reward you if he can do that.
Yeah.
He's efficient, one of the best in the game right now.
Ian, what year were you born?
2002.
Do you know who sings As Long As You Love Me? As long as you love me.
Usher?
All right, I'm going to just third down.
Like
Next
it.
one.
I like it.
What's a suggestion for a rule change that wide receivers will hate, but you, a former wide receiver, will love?
I don't know. I'm changed in my old ways. First, I'm in love with the run, and now I'm trying to help out the defense. It's hard to play defense in this league, so I follow a guy named Coach Dan Casey on Instagram. You guys should follow him. Good football content. And he put out there, we need to stop rewarding underthrown balls with pass interference calls. I agree 100%. So here's the rule. If I'm running down the field, I'm running a go, and I look back and the ball's underthrown, the DB doesn't know the ball's underthrown. If I just stop and reach for the football, it could be 10 yards away from me, 5 yards away from me. If he doesn't look back for the ball, it's an automatic penalty. It's a spot foul. And it's unfair to the DB. You're rewarding your quarterback for throwing a garbage football. So here's his suggestion. If you come back to an underthrown ball and the DB makes contact, it's a 5-yard illegal contact penalty, and you replay the down. I like that more. Stop giving freebies to wide receivers and quarterbacks. Look at me. Throw all my guys under the bus. But something needs to change, because it's hard to play defense. You can't hit the quarterbacks. You got to guess if they're sliding or not. And they're outside the pocket, going across the middle. You can't touch anybody. If they're defenseless, you can't even look at them hard. You're going to get a dang penalty. It's so hard to play defense in this league. And I feel for these guys. And this is achievement. I coach this. I tell my receivers all the time, hey, underthrown ball, just go back and reach for it. We'll get a flag. And if you don't get a flag, I will get at the ref until he understands the rules. So you might have to switch that up.
You can always tell, too. I'm thinking of Reek Woolen when there was OPI, Marvin Harrison, like blatant OPI on Reek Woolen, and Reek looks furious and goes up to the ref. You can tell it's because he doesn't think he's getting this call, even though it should be called, even though it's offensive pass interference. Like, there are times when defensive players will be like, what, really? That was it? And then you'll have a blatant offensive pass interference or a hold or something, and they'll be like, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like, what happens when this is right in front of your face? So, yeah, I think Reek Woolen would probably agree with you on that one. He'd be one of many defensive players. Fourth down. What's an example of players making coaches right?
Kobe Bryant made the coach right. He made his teammates right. He played football on his interception. He's got deep middle of the field, and this is just my educated guess on what I think was supposed to happen. He has deep middle, but when you drop a safety into the robber position, he plays in between the linebackers and the safety, trying to take away any crossing route. So Kobe Bryant can continue to get depth and make sure he's deeper than the deepest. Somebody wasn't there. Marvin Harrison is running a deep cross, and instead of continuing to get depth, he goes, you know what? I'm going to play football now. I see ball, I'm going to give ball. At some point, coaches always win the game on paper. You got a clear plan of what you want to do, how we're going to attack them, but then you need your athletes to go out there and athlete. And in that moment, he did exactly that. You just got to play football sometimes and let your instincts take over. If you have horrible instincts, you're not going to be on the field very often, because you have to do your job, but then you also just have to react and realize this is a game and things aren't going to go according to plan all the time. That's what I'm seeing out of Kobe Bryant. He's got 3 interceptions this year. Before this, he played in 20-plus games without any interceptions. And You get interceptions by having a good feel for the game, by doing your job and letting your instincts take over. When I watch that play, I see a young man who was feeling it. The best games I've ever played in, the game is moving in slow motion. Everything's slow. Like, you're playing fast, but everything's moving slow. You see everything happening beautifully.
Yeah.
That's where Kobe is right now. He's in the zone. He needs to keep this up. It's been a great move, keeping him back there at safety. But big ups to Jenkins, too. He's been playing some good ball as well.
Okay, so credit to Kobe Bryant for making the play, even though there was blown coverage on that play. He still showed up. Has there ever been a moment in your career as a player where a play kind of fell apart? Maybe like you weren't supposed to make a play but did, or maybe you weren't part of the play but something happened and it ended up working out?
Yep. UCLA, I was a punt returner, and the rule is you put your heels at 10 yards if you're backed up. And if you have to back up, you don't field the punt. I backed up, caught the punt in the end zone, took it out still about 35, 40 yards, so it all worked out. I shouldn't have done it, though.
Probably one of those things where you're walking back, your coach was, did anyone say anything to you?
Oh, yeah, my coach was like, you better have taken that out there. You better have put 30. I remember my boy, Tyron Brackenridge. He was my personal protector. I catch the ball, and everyone kind of eases up because they're like, what the heck's going on? And he just looks at me and gives me a wave. He goes, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. And boom, we were out of there.
All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know. Any questions, send it to the Mac and Jacks text line, 866-979-3776. That's next.
This is Seattle Sports.
Kyler Murray's going to throw in the middle. It's intercepted. Jones. He's across the 20, tripped up and dropped at the 19-yard line.
As soon as I turned around to look for the ball, it was there, and I'm like, there's no way.
Gino gets rid of the football, low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40. Tackle down, first down.
Great team win for us. Man, just the mentality that we're in right now, coming down the home stretch, December football. Thought the guys were ready to play.
We are the home of the Seahawks.
You know what's really getting old? Having to do more with less. With Ramp, you can do more with more. Ramp is the corporate card and expense management software that saves businesses like yours an average of 5%. That's more for you to invest back into your operations, your staff, your bottom line, you name it. And that means less time spent on manual tasks, less time spent closing your books, and less time spent worrying about where your money went. All with Ramp.
I grew my hospitality company fast. So fast that we actually felt serious growing pains. Ramp helped us automate our manual expense tracking, saving the team valuable time. Now we have more time to spend on what really matters, our guests and their experience.
Ramp gives you more time, more visibility, and more control over your business. Don't settle for anything less. Start using Ramp for free today at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Your business needs a network it can count on.
Power's out.
Comcast Business has you covered with Wi-Fi backup to help keep your business up and running, even when your power goes out.
Everybody in the warehouse good? Lights are out, but the Wi-Fi's up. Let's power on.
It's from the company with 99.9% network reliability.
Break room, you good?
Can't microwave my burrito, but Wi-Fi's fine. Let's power on.
Power on with the leader in connectivity, Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ask about Wi-Fi backup for your business or get started with reliable internet and advanced security for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year contract. Plus, for a limited time, ask about an $800 holiday bonus prepaid card with a qualifying internet package. Don't wait. Call or go online to ComcastBusiness.com today. Ins 12/15/24. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 150 megabit per second internet and security edge. EcoBill and autopay required. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra.
Guys, are you looking for affordable and guaranteed low T and ED treatments here in Seattle? Revive Men's Health Seattle has been offering innovative men's health since 2013. Our convenient low T and ED clinics and providers have over 10 years of experience and thousands of happy patients. If you're suffering from low T or ED, we have guaranteed solutions for you. Our solutions can provide immediate results, restore blood flow naturally, and even bring spontaneity back into your love life. And right now, Revive Seattle locations are offering free T-level checks and free exams. We can help you get stronger and improve your performance and even get better sleep. Plus, if you're an unsatisfied patient of another men's clinic, we'll transfer your care for free. Book today, and your T-level check and exam will be free, saving you $199. Ask about our new patient specials and interest-free financing. Call Revive Men's Health at 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit revivemenshealth.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
This is Seattle Sports.
Gino gets rid of the football, low throw. It's dug out by JSN. He breaks a tackle. He's out across the 40.
The home of the Seahawks.
In the PNW, we all know what driving is like here in the winter. Very slippery. Our friends at Mazda of Everett have your solution. A huge selection of over 600 new Mazda all-wheel drive SUVs. With over 600 new Mazdas in stock to choose from, you can find the Mazda that's best for you. Plus, right now, they've got 0% financing on select new Mazdas on approved credit during the Mazda A Season to Move You sales event. See for yourself why Mazda of Everett is different. MazdaofEverett.com.
The Pacific Northwest is the perfect backdrop for the holiday season. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law reminds us that the roadways don't always agree.
It's that combination of additional travel, changes in routine, and winter weather that make this the most dangerous time of the year to be behind the wheel.
Any safety tips to help commuters keep the holidays joyful?
The number one cause of accidents remains distracted driving, even during the holidays. So store that cell phone in a place that eliminates temptation. It's imperative we set the example for our teens. Also, be aware of abrupt changes in the weather and prepare for it. Sometimes it's as simple as allowing additional distance for following or stopping. Lastly, make sure your vehicle is properly maintained for winter.
That includes four-wheel drive and chains when required at the pass. Please follow these safety precautions from my good friends at Pendergast Law and keep you and your neighbors safe this holiday season.
Happy holidays from all of us at Pendergast Law.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Now that the rain is here, I remember my conversation with Anthony, the owner of Asset Roofing, about metal roofs. And not only are metal roofs not loud when it rains, they're more eco-friendly, last twice as long, and Asset Roofing can do them for up to 30% less than their competitors. You can find out more at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing excellence is on the house.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Love Usher.
Nothing like some good Usher, man.
Nothing like Usher. Love Usher. Such a good thing. Classic Usher song. Oh, God.
How do we get the rights to that? We gonna get sued?
You know,
don't mention it.
Don't
Let's fade regular bet back up.
Yeah, we just need a little second of it.
Yeah.
Ian, did you figure out who it was? Did you take time researching over the break?
Is Backstreet Boys?
Backstreet Boys. Okay. You can be forgiven. It was before your time. What I need to know. Let's get to some of our questions here from listeners. I do have some sports ones, but I'm going to hit you with non-sports ones first. Snickerdoodles or chocolate chip cookies? Also, says this listener, which cookie is the best cookie on the plate?
Snickerdoodles all day. The best cookie
that one's tougher.
to me is oatmeal cookies.
That's the oldest thing you've said today.
Oatmeal cookies.
I just need to reiterate for the audience that Bump has said both that Thursday is the best day of the week and that oatmeal cookies are the best cookies.
Bomb.
Yeah,
Bump.
Exactly.
Bomb.
Ian, you were right to look confused.
I don't know what's going on.
So upsetting to me.
They're bomb.
I'm waiting for you. Need one more old man take to kind of round it out.
I'm 39 on Friday.
Yeah, well,
your boy's getting up there.
Speaking of birthdays, what I need to know, says another listener, if you could move your birthday anywhere else on the calendar, Bump, yours is December 13th. What new date would you choose? Yes. I'm letting listeners know.
I would choose. My son always. He gets mad because he has a summer birthday. He goes, I don't get to celebrate with my classmates.
Aww.
I would do a summer birthday all day though.
Yeah, so mine is May 31st, and I'm annoyed with how close it is to June. So I'll just take straight up June 1st. You know, something about being on the edge of May annoys me. I don't know what it is. I've never loved my birthday. The only thing I like about it is it's not freezing cold. Two of my closest friends have birthdays. Actually, 3 of my closest friends have birthdays in winter, all 3 of them. So I got the late spring birthday, but it's Seattle. Who cares? It's literally rained over Memorial Day weekend, which is when my birthday always is.
Man.
So doesn't matter anyway. I'll take June, July.
June, July, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom has a good birthday.
When's hers?
It's July 11th.
That's a great birthday.
Yeah.
That's Derek's birthday.
Is it?
7-11. Why are the Niners 2.5-point favorites over the Rams this week, says another listener.
Are they at home?
I think so.
That's probably why. That's the only reason why. Has to be it. And they're healthy. They're getting healthy. I still think the Rams are going to get them, though.
It kind of reminds me of Arizona Cardinals being slight favorites over Seattle. It's just a good bet. Like, the better team is an underdog because the record is close, but it doesn't actually indicate where the two teams are. So it's Vegas kind of doing you a favor is what it is.
Yeah.
What I need to know, 866-979-3776. Speaking of Backstreet Boys, who's the most underrated boy band group?
Underrated.
I don't even know.
I mean, we got to talk about this. NSYNC, there's Backstreet Boys, there's 98 Degrees, there's what's that other one? LFO. New Kids on the Block, got a lot of hits. Chinese food makes me sick.
But I think it's fly when the girls stop by.
Some sad, like 2 of those dudes are dead.
What?
Yeah, sad.
2 of 3?
Yeah.
I did not know
Homies
that.
rolling
That is
solo.
actually really sad.
And then we got to go, hey, don't forget the black groups, though.
Yeah.
We got Silk, Backstreet, B2K. That's a suspect group, though. That B2K group is suspect.
What are you talking about?
I mean, there's some
Was
some
Omarion
weird
in
things
that?
going on in that, yeah.
Oh,
some
we'll
weird
talk
things.
About that. Can the Ducks go all the way?
I think they can. I kind of want them to. I know we're not supposed to. We're not supposed to want this, but I just don't want an SEC team to get it. I want a new kid on the block. I want Arizona State. They're not going to get it. I want SMU. They're not going to get it. So I'm okay with Oregon this year.
Listener text in 98 degrees.
I said that.
Did you mention 98
Yeah.
degrees? I blanked on that one. Like, it didn't click with me. But then once I looked it up, I searched the 98 degree songs. I Do Cherish You. Yes. Wow.
You remember Together? The spoof group on MTV?
No.
You don't remember that
Go
group?
Google this.
Oh,
Together.
man.
So they were a spoof of like a boy band.
Yeah.
Spoof. Oh, good stuff. I'm going to look this up later. 866-979-3776. The Rams are home and the 49ers are home and you think the Rams will win? I mean, I just saw the Rams beat the Bills in a shootout.
Did y'all see that game?
I mean, granted, the 49ers did beat the Bears.
Yeah. What, held them to what? How many yards in the first half?
First half, 300 and something to 4 yards.
Yeah, you never know with those games, man, but I think the Rams are just playing better ball right now.
I think the 49ers, not having Christian McCaffrey, Brock's been a little banged up off and on. They lost Brandon Ayuk earlier. Debo's having a down year. Like, they are an immensely talented team that have lost so many guys this year or have banged up players. Like, that's not even to mention Javon Hargrave, who they lost like first week or something.
Hufanga.
Yeah. Like, they've been so unfortunate with injuries. So,
yeah.
Meanwhile, the Rams just put on a clinic.
For the sake of my black card, I got to mention some groups. Boyz II Men, Jodeci, Jackson 5. Okay. It's intact. The community is about to give up on me.
866-979-3776. Get your questions in for What I Need to Know. It's just people texting you in, supporting you about oatmeal cookies and boy bands, and I'm scrolling through them because
oatmeal cookies are fire.
They're good.
Remember we had that company?
No
we had that
ones.
company give us cookies, and it was
they were
oatmeal
bomb.
cookies. Man.
It is not what I would choose. Top 3 in order. I would go
Chocolate chip.
no.
Like everybody else.
No, I would go a classic sprinkle cookie. Number
What's a
one.
sprinkle
It's like a
cookie?
soft sugar cookie with sprinkles on top.
Like the ones you get at Fred Meyer in the plastic deal. Okay.
Number 2.
So a cake, a birthday cake, essentially.
Essentially, it's like birthday cake flavored cookie. Number 2, I'll go if there's like a red velvet situation or a cookies and cream situation.
Hold
Oreo.
on.
Oreo is number 2.
We
is what
gotta
I'm
talk.
saying.
These are like real cookies, not cookies that were cakes
So I
or
can't
ice
say
cream that you
Oreos?
can make.
Why can't I say Oreo?
Oreo's not a cookie.
But it is a cookie. It's America's favorite cookie.
I guess it is.
Okay, fine. Chocolate chip is number 2. I just didn't want to be basic, okay? Number 3, Snickerdoodle.
Snickerdoodle.
Yeah, it's good.
Mhm.
It's I'd have oatmeal as like 5. No raisins.
5.
I'm just saying.
Almost
866-979-3776.
I thought I did.
Let me get to
You're on there, buddy.
Ian.
Hit the wrong button.
It's
Who
okay.
brought this
It's
rookie,
Ian,
huh?
what are you doing
Everybody's
here?
wearing a Boston Red Sox
God.
cap. Who brought this guy?
Guy's been alive for 20 years, still
Right.
figuring it out.
Still wet behind the ears.
Why are you wearing a Boston cap, Ian? We haven't even asked you that today.
I'm a Sox guy.
Ian, you can leave. Just let the
He
board
was
run.
born in Arlington, but he likes the Red Sox.
Ian, are you from Boston?
My mom is.
Oh, okay.
okay. You get a
fine. Well,
pass.
yeah,
You get
we'll
a
let it
pass.
slide. That's fine. That's fine. All right, that'll do it for us today. Ian, thanks for helping out today. For Matt Nelson, Michael Bumpus, I'm Stacey Ross. Don't go anywhere. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
The Mike McDonald Show. The first word from the head coach after every Seahawks game.
It's funny. I mean, you get these questions about like when we do good stuff, like, hey, what button did you push? It's like, no, we just kept doing what we said we were going to do. And there's a couple things, and you just keep chasing those things, keep playing really hard, and guys stay bought in. Then good things happen. I think now it's great that, we have probably some more confidence in what we're doing, what we're trying to get done. Just everybody sticking together and working towards what we want to look like.
Don't miss the Mike McDonald Show the morning after the Hawks game at 9:30 on Seattle Sports.
Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health. Guys, Viagra is not the answer for your problem. I know you think it is, but Viagra has horrible side effects, and for most men, the longer you're on it, the less it works. Viagra is not a curative medication. It's not fixing your problem. It's a Band-Aid for a shark bite. Acoustic wave therapy is the newest technology that can correct your problem, not just treat it. We can do something that no pill can do. We can restore your blood flow naturally. Get off Viagra today. Change your life like the thousands of men who already have, regardless of your age or your medical history. If you're tired of dealing with Peyronie's disease or erectile dysfunction, then call West Coast Men's Health today.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Have you tried the dining district at the Bellevue Collection? Grab lunch with friends, meet up for happy hour, and stay for dinner.